bonjour aussi YouTube, j'espère que vous très très bien, j'espère que vous avez passé une bonne journée hier, que tout se passe bien pour vous. Et oui, ce matin, on va jouer à Slay the Princess et je vais vous expliquer vite fait déjà. Alors, premier point, oui du coup il n'y a pas de Silent Hill de remake ce matin. J'ai pas non plus décidé de faire le remaster parce que j'ai justement trouvé Slay the Princess. Voilà, donc le remaster HD tout cassé, peut-être qu'on le continuera un jour. Mais pour l'instant, voilà quoi, c'est... Bon, j'ai trouvé mieux. Mais surtout, euh, Slay the Princess, du coup, remplace Astrobot. C'est un petit jeu, narratif qui est dans le thème d'Halloween, hein, y a pas de problème. Où l'objectif, comme c'est marqué sur le, bref, en dessous du titre, vous êtes ici pour tuer la princesse, ne croyez pas ces mensonges. J'en ai entendu beaucoup de bien depuis l'année dernière, puisqu'en fait c'est un jeu qui est sorti l'année dernière, mais qui est sorti hier sur console, avec une VF. Voilà, il n'y avait pas de VF quand le jeu est sorti initialement, et donc ils ont depuis sorti une version avec justement une VF. Et ça va être trop cool, c'est trop bien. Donc voilà, j'en ai vraiment entendu beaucoup de bien. J'ai pas cherché à trop me spoiler, de toute façon j'ai juste vu ce qu'on avait dit Pseudoless, et que ça a l'air très cool, et donc on va découvrir ça ce matin. À la base j'hésitais quand même pas mal, hein, parce que comme je vous avais dit justement hier et puis avant-hier tout ça, que j'hésitais entre quelques jeux dont Subnautica, Dredge, ou alors quelques jeux d'horreur que je souhaitais pas véritablement faire parce que justement on va faire Silent Hill 2 Remake à côté, donc du coup ça va être un peu... ça va faire doublon, hein, comme on pourrait dire, donc sinon on aurait pu faire du Dead Space, Resident Evil 2, Project 05, enfin voilà, il y avait vraiment de quoi faire. Donc voilà, à la base aussi je voulais faire du coup Spider-Man 2, à la place de Astrobot, mais j'arrive pas à me remettre dedans, vraiment j'arrive vraiment pas. Je me suis... j'ai vraiment... c'est chiant, c'est chiant. Et j'avais trouvé du coup aussi deux jeux, bon, qui sortent pas tout de suite, qui sortent la semaine prochaine, mais qu'on aurait pu faire. Alors, le problème aussi de ces jeux-là, c'est que c'est des RPG. Ça peut être un peu long, et comme vous le savez, je vous l'ai déjà dit dans d'autres streams, enfin si vous le savez pas, je vous le dis, mais le mois prochain, je pars vivre dans un autre pays, et donc du coup, en fait, je prends pas ma PS5 avec moi, donc du coup, ça va, comment dire, le stream, enfin le let's play en question peut cutter, peut cutter si je l'ai pas fini quoi, quand je pars. Donc du coup ça peut être un peu problématique. Donc voilà. Mais, ça pourrait être sympa de les faire. Donc il y avait du coup Is 9 qui sort aujourd'hui d'ailleurs. Enfin non, Is 10. Is 10. Le 9 il est déjà sorti, non c'est le 10. Qui sort aujourd'hui. Mais le truc c'est qu'il a l'air vraiment très long. Aussi jeudi prochain, il y a Dragon Age The Vanguard. Et franchement, moi je me dis, pourquoi pas, hein? Pourquoi pas après tout, hein, voilà. Ça peut être cool. J'y réfléchis. Et hier, j'ai trouvé du coup deux autres jeux qui pouvaient être intéressants. Le premier, c'est le nouveau Life is Strange. Je suis pas un gros fan de Life is Strange. J'ai pas fait le 2, j'ai pas fait les spin-offs et tout ça, mais honnêtement, pour avoir vu du coup deux streams sur le début du jeu du nouveau Life is Strange, ça a l'air sympa. Ça a l'air des fois complètement con, genre vraiment complètement con, et le jeu a l'air de faire en sorte de vouloir t'énerver aussi, visiblement, mais honnêtement, je sais pas, ça m'attire. Voilà, c'est bizarre, mais c'est comme ça. Donc je suis encore un petit peu en réflexion, me dire qu'est-ce qu'on fait, est-ce qu'on fait Life is Strange, est-ce qu'on fait Dragon Age The Vanguard, puisque pour le coup, du coup, vraiment, ils se disent, je pense que ça va vraiment être très long. Et donc, du coup, c'est assuré que je ne le terminerai pas avant de partir. Je me souviens combien de temps j'ai mis pour terminer Is 9, hein, qui était très cool. En tous les cas, ça veut pas dire que c'est un mauvais jeu. Hein. Is 10, ça a l'air très bien. Le 9 était très bien. Et était très clairement un des meilleurs jeux de 2021. Donc, très concrètement, je suis. Je suis à peu près sûr que c'est pas mal. En plus, j'ai déjà vu un peu de gameplay de Is 10 sur la version japonaise, donc voilà quoi. Mais du coup, ouais, je réfléchis encore, parce que je suis sûr qu'on va le terminer assez rapidement ce jeu. Peut-être pas aussi rapidement que Astrobot, mais on va le terminer assez rapidement quand même. Donc voilà, puisque justement, c'est lui qu'après j'ai découvert. J'ai fouillé un petit peu et tout ça, et à un moment donné, je sais plus ce que je cherchais. J'ai vu un truc. Oui, c'est ça. J'ai vu du coup les trailers de lancement du coup de la version console de Slay the Princess. Et du coup, j'ai été voir et il coûte pas très cher. Il coûte pas très cher, vraiment, il coûte même moins cher que sur PC. C'est dingue. D'habitude, c'est plutôt l'inverse. Et du coup, je me suis dit, allez, vas-y. J'en avais entendu parler justement par Pseudolait. Je me suis dit, allez, vas-y, on le fait. En plus, il a l'air très court. Donc, du coup, ça peut être vachement sympa. Et c'est dans le thème, évidemment, d'Halloween. En plus, donc allons-y. Lançons Slay the Princess. C'est parti. Et peut-être qu'on essaiera d'avoir le platine. L'un des problèmes, par contre, c'est que euh, la liste des trophées, elle est pas sur, elle est pas sur PSTHC. Je sais pas ce qu'ils ont, mais du coup. Alors par contre, je vous préviens, c'est très simpliste, hein, voilà, c'est comme jeu narratif, c'est très simpliste, mais il paraît que c'est très 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 bien. Ah, du français. Ah, d'accord. Mal de transport. Ok. Bon, on va voir. On va voir ça. Et que ce soit les erreurs que vous découvrez dans ces sombres recoins, faites preuve de courage et poursuivez jusqu'au bout de votre aventure. Aucune fin n'est prématurée, aucune décision n'est mauvaise. Il y a uniquement de nouvelles perspectives et de nouveaux départs. Ceci est une histoire d'amour. D'accord. Voilà, bon, bon bah c'est bien. Let's go, on est parti. On est parti du coup. Chapitre 1. Le héros et la princesse.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Oh, ils ont mis des trucs dans la six-axis. Quand je bouge la manette, ça bouge le décor.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Ok. Ah. Ah, le problème a l'air d'être réglé. Ça, c'était un problème que, justement sur la version PC, quand tu passais au bout d'un moment justement les sélections, le... tu voyais plus en fait le truc sélectionné. Ils ont réglé ce souci. Alors, explorer. La fin du monde? Vous pouvez être plus précis? Avez-vous envisagé qu'elle pourrait causer la fin du monde uniquement parce qu'elle est enfermée? L'exécution d'une princesse, c'est un peu immoral, vous ne trouvez pas? Personne d'autre ne peut s'en charger. Laissez tomber, je refuse de faire ça. Vous ne vous dites pas que je n'étais pas contre la fin du monde? Si je le fais, vais-je recevoir une quelconque récompense? Ah d'accord, merci de me dire ce que je dois faire. Génial, j'ai toujours rêvé d'exécuter une souveraine. Vive la révolution! On peut dire, non, je casse! On va plutôt dire ça. Avez-vous envisagé qu'elle pourrait causer la fin du monde uniquement parce qu'elle est enfermée?
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock. Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up.
Ok.
And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
Mhm. Ah oui, du coup, on peut explorer des questions. La fin du monde? Vous pouvez être plus précis?
I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
Mhm. Et comment une princesse enfermée dans un sous-sol pourrait-elle causer la fin du monde?
Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you.
Mhm. Avez-vous des preuves concrètes de ce que vous avancez? Les questions du moral, vous ne trouvez pas? D'autres, on ne peut s'en charger. Ok. Avez-vous des preuves concrètes de ce que vous avancez?
Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey.
Ok. La question d'une princesse, c'est un peu immoral, vous ne trouvez pas?
Does it? Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a fisherman or a miller or a seamstress? If anything, slaying a princess is much better than slaying a seamstress. Seamstresses contribute something of value to society.
Oui, c'est pas faux. Mais on a... C'est mal de tuer les gens. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Ok. Personne d'autre ne peut s'en charger.
Oh, if only that were the case, but I don't make the rules. I have to say, I'm surprised at your reluctance thus far, but unfortunately for the both of us, you're the only one who can pull this off. Like I said, I don't make the rules, no matter how much I wish I did.
Le narrateur est bien. Vous n'êtes pas dit que je n'étais pas contre la violence? Si... écoutez, je vais aller au chalet et parler avec elle. Si elle est aussi terrible que vous prétendez, alors peut-être que je la tuerai. Mais je ne promets rien avant d'avoir eu l'occasion de la rencontrer en personne. Je suis très bien, je suis convaincu. Ah d'accord. Non, bah... Et laisse tomber, je refuse de faire
Are you
ça.
serious? No, you have to do it.
Vous avez... Écoutez, je vais aller au chalet et parler avec elle. Bon, on va faire ça. Si elle est aussi terrible que vous le prétendez, alors peut-être que je la tuerai. Mais je ne promettrai rien avant d'avoir eu l'occasion de la rencontrer en personne.
Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies. And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out. Then each and every one of us is doomed. So sure, go, talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Bon bah, rentrez dans le chalet. Let's go.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Mhm. On va prendre la lame au cas où.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
C'est vrai. Hein. Allez, on descend.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below.
Ah. Pas de voix. L'ambiance est oppressante. L'air est lourd et humide, et une odeur de pourriture émane du vieux bois. Si la princesse vit vraiment ici, l'Oxyre sera une sorte de libération pour elle.
Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Bonjour.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world? Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Quoi? N'importe quoi? Comment pouvez-vous imaginer une chose pareille? Je suis démasqué, je suis effectivement là pour vous tuer. Non, pas du tout. J'ai pas encore pris ma décision. Ouais, je n'ai pas encore pris ma décision.
How about you drop the knife and the two of us just talk?
Look how reasonable she's being. We should just drop the blade and talk things out. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. But killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Après, l'objectif, ce serait au moins de lui parler. On sait pas encore qui c'est exactement, hein, donc... Pourquoi on devrait lâcher notre arme? On va garder la... renforcer la prise.
You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be.
Ah.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
Alors, et si elle plaisantait par ici, elle nous tuait. Certain qu'elle n'a pas d'arme. Je suis désolé, peut-on au moins discuter? C'est certain qu'elle a pas d'arme.
I'm positive. I'm not. But we'll keep our eyes peeled. If she has a weapon, she'll have to draw it before she can use it.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop the knife and the two of us can be civilized with each other?
Ah, on peut pas discuter avec elle tant qu'on lâche pas l'arme. Pas question de poser ma lame.
Then I'm not talking to you.
Oh. Très bien, nous sommes donc dans une impasse.
I guess we are.
For the love of everything, just slay her already. Or drop the blade. Do something.
Vous ne voulez vraiment pas discuter?
Yeah, I'm sure.
For goodness sake, the two of you can't just stand around like this forever. Eventually, something is going to give, and I highly recommend that you be the one to take the initiative here.
Bon, on lâche l'arme. Allez. D'accord.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
Alors, en effet, c'est très étrange. Une relation? Je rêve vous me draguer. Comment je pourrais vous sortir d'ici? Je suis ici parce qu'apparemment vous avez l'intention de détruire le monde. Certains vous soupçonnent de vouloir anéantir le monde. Qu'est-ce que vous répondez à cela? Comment vous appelez-vous? Depuis combien de temps êtes-vous enfermé ici? C'est où? Pourquoi je viens vous auxilier? Nous avons assez discuté. Ah, on va faire ça. Comment vous appelez-vous? Déjà, on va essayer de savoir qui c'est.
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
Note the lack of detail. You can't trust her.
Mhm. Depuis combien de temps êtes-vous enfermé ici?
Too long.
Mhm.
Again, she offers no specifics. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get a straight answer out of her.
Savez-vous pourquoi je viens vous auxilier?
Do you?
Je sais très bien ce qu'on m'a dit, ce que je crois ou non, ça c'est autre chose.
So, you're not going to share? How pointless. If you want to talk, I'll talk. But this isn't talking.
Qu'est-ce que je dois dire, moi? Alors... Certains vous soupçonnent de vouloir anéantir le monde. Qu'est-ce que vous répondre à cela?
Don't just tell her that.
That's cute. Do you believe that? Do you think I'm some sort of monster? If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous?
Hmm. Ça, j'aurais plus tendance à vous croire vous. Ah, j'espère que vous me le direz.
Ending the world seems like an awful lot for just one person to do. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. That doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it sounds right to you either. Otherwise, we'd be killing each other instead of talking.
She has a point. There's a reason I've been telling you to question the situation, and there's a reason you've listened.
So, I could tell you that I'd lead a quiet life in the woods, or that I'd open an orphanage, or that I'd do any other number of good things that I'm sure you think you want to hear. But you don't really know me, do you? What can my word possibly be worth in a situation like this?
She's right about one thing. Her word isn't worth anything.
Like I said, it's all about trust. Blind trust. So do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim, the princess clearly incapable of ending the world? Or do you trust whoever put me here?
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch no less.
Reine cruelle. Pourquoi j'ai plus que deux choix? Je veux en savoir plus, moi. Comment ça, souveraine cruelle? J'en sais pas assez pour la libérer, hein, mais j'en sais pas assez pour la tuer non plus. Après... J'ai pas forcément envie de la faire sortir d'ici pour l'instant, mais on va mettre le premier. On va voir ce que ça va dire. Je sais pas pourquoi il pense ça.
Don't jump to any weird conclusions. We're two people who have met each other. By definition, we have a relationship.
Bah oui, évidemment. Mhm. Je pense que si on met bon, nous avons assez discuté, ça la tue, non? Euh... Bon, si ça je fais quoi? Bon, nous avons assez discuté.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
Vous laissez enfermer ici encore un moment, le temps que je me décide. On peut toujours essayer d'apprendre à se connaître en attendant. Plutôt ça.
That seems like a pretty good compromise. Leaving her alive is too risky. If you don't deal with her soon, she will find a way out.
One way or another, I'm going to find a way out of here. You can make it easier for both of us if you help.
Ah, d'accord.
And if you don't, I can promise that you'll come to regret that decision.
Elle est bizarre.
You have to make a choice. Let's hope for all our sakes it's the right one.
J'ai pris ma décision. Je l'enferme sous sol.
I know you think this is a fair compromise, but it isn't. No one wins here. It's a chance we'll have to take. We can make this work. If we just stay here and keep watch, no one has to die.
You're making a mistake.
You turn your back to the princess and make your way to the stairs.
It won't be long before I slip these chains. And once I'm out of here, there will be hell to pay for leaving me behind.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here. But do you hear the conviction in her voice? I don't think she's bluffing. Either way, she dropped her mask, didn't she? You can still turn around and finish the job.
Bah le truc c'est qu'on n'a pas récupéré la lame. Quand on y pense. Donc c'est peut-être pour ça. La chaîne elle a l'air d'être longue. Donc du coup, limite pour pouvoir se barrer sans souci, il faut ne pas mettre la lame. Non, elle reste enfermée.
It'll be the death of all of us, but fine. Have it your way. You close the basement door, locking it behind you and quickly barricading it with the heavy wooden table that once held the blade. Okay, we can make this work. You settle in against the far wall to watch the basement door. It isn't long before you start to drift off, your eyelids heavy with fatigue. But sleep doesn't come. Instead, your rest is broken by a piercing, wailing voice calling out to you from the other side of the door.
I know you're still there. Why don't you make things easier on yourself and let me out? It's not like this little door will hold for very long anyways. It's probably a good idea to try to get back on my good side.
She sounds terrifying. Like she's less of the princess you saw and more like something out of a nightmare. As she violently rattles the door, you do your best to shut her out of your mind.
When I get out of here, I'm going to pick you apart piece by piece. I won't forget what you did, and I'll never forgive it. You don't
know the kind of enemy you've made tonight.
It doesn't sound like she's getting any weaker. No, it doesn't.
Pendant tout ce temps, vous jouiez la comédie, n'est-ce pas? Vous n'êtes ni innocente ni inoffensive. Vous n'êtes même pas une princesse. Non, on peut pas aller se coucher dans cette situation. Tout de même pas. Allez, on fait... Vous jouez la comédie, n'est-ce pas? Oh, voilà.
Be innocent and harmless, if I wanna be. Teasing me with fresh air and a chance to finally live freely doesn't inspire me to play nice.
You put the princess's threats out of your mind as best you can and huddle up against the wall. You jolt awake in the middle of the night to silence in the cabin. The ruckus has stopped, and the door to the basement is ajar, its lock broken, and the table shoved out of the way. Where is she?
Thanks for helping me get out of that awful basement.
You try and stumble to your feet, but as the princess draws near, it's as though your body simply stops working. It isn't all at once. The paralysis comes in waves. First your toes go numb, and then your feet, and then your legs. You lie prone on the floor of the cabin, unable to do anything but witness her approach. Whose side are you on? Yours, of course. But I have a duty to uphold the truth. Lying about the facts of the situation doesn't change them.
So helpless. I can take my time with you, can't I?
She steps closer, one silent footfall at a time, cocking her head in curiosity as you feel your organs shutting down one by one.
Or maybe I can't take my time with you. You don't look well. A little green around the gills. What a shame. If you'd only helped me get out of here, we could have done such wonderful things together.
Your lungs stop drawing in breath, and your heart freezes in your chest. You have seconds left.
I'd say better luck next time. But we both know this is the end, don't we?
It can't be. This can't actually be how everything ends. I'm sorry, but it is. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Chapitre 2.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
J'ai l'impression de déjà vu. Mais j'ai vécu ça. Ouais mais non. Qu'est-ce que je fais ici? Il va encore me tuer. Ouais. Attendez, on a déjà vécu ça.
Hasn't. Or if it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Shh. What if he hears us? That's a very good question, little voice. What if he does hear you? Shit. I think you'll find yourselves very hard-pressed to keep any secrets from me. Not that it matters right now, because like I said, this is the first time we've met. Still, I'd rather not get off on the wrong foot. We've a world to save after all.
Admettons que je dise la vérité et que tout cela se soit déjà produit. Pourquoi devrais-je vous écouter? Pourquoi m'embêter à faire quoi que ce soit?
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. If you're back here, I'm assuming you died, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me. We couldn't trust either of you, and as far as I'm concerned, we still can't. All we did was lock her away. And how'd that work out for you? No comment. Well then, congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right. And your solution is to send us back in there. Do you want us to slay the princess, or do you want the princess to slay us? Obviously, I want you to slay her. One of you poses a threat to the world, and the other doesn't. Anyways, I believe your other question was something along the lines of, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We were killed by the princess, and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Speak for yourself. From my perspective, there were plenty of consequences. I'm never going to forget the way she just made us stop working. And that's only scratching the surface. If what you said is true, it begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or have you found yourself in another world altogether? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died?
J'ai l'impression des fois que la traduction enlève des trucs ou rajoute des trucs, c'est un peu bizarre. Ah! Ouais, des fois, il y a toute la phrase qui se met d'un coup. C'est certainement pour pas faire des gros pâtés de texte. C'est pour ça. Est-ce que vous êtes remonté dans le temps ou est-ce que vous êtes arrivé dans un autre monde? C'est la deuxième option. Et que s'est-il passé après votre mort, d'après vous?
Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would? If she brought an end to everything and everyone, how are we supposed to stop her? What do you want from us? I want you to succeed. You'll find a way. You're the only one who can.
Parlons un peu de cette princesse.
Just be quick about it.
La dernière fois, il a suffi que je sois près d'elle pour que mes organes cessent de fonctionner. Je suis censé faire quoi face à ça au juste?
Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job and save the world.
Pour citer l'une de vos phrases fétiches de la dernière fois, c'est juste une princesse. Comment avez-vous pu affirmer une chose pareille? Ce qu'elle est réellement est de toute évidence bien pire.
She is just a princess. Whatever you think happened to you last time, just get it out of your head before you get to the cabin and you'll be fine.
Qui l'a enfermée dans ses sous-sols? C'est quoi cet endroit au juste?
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
Pourquoi les personnes qui l'ont enfermée ne sont pas chargées de la tuer? Pourquoi est-ce que le sale boulot me revient à moi?
Look, I'm not supposed to say this, but it's because you're special. You're the only person capable of doing this. Call it a prophecy, if that helps, but it's just the way things are. You can't just goad us into doing something by calling us special. It's manipulative. Why are you trying to manipulate us? I don't know, I kinda like being special. Okay, fine, maybe you can goad him into doing something, but he's not even the one who makes the decisions here. I'm not goading you into doing anything. You already know the princess is dangerous. All I'm trying to say is that you have to be the one to deal with her. I know it doesn't seem fair, but that's just the way it is. And for what it's worth, I know you have it in you to finish the job. We don't. You saw what happened to us last time. We need to leave.
Vous êtes évasif, vous me cachez... que me cachez-vous?
I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult. If you want us to stand a chance against her, we need to be armed with information. What is she really capable of? How are we supposed to stop her? Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about her, the better things will go for all of us. I know it sounds like I'm hiding something, but you're just going to have to take me at my word. He isn't telling us everything he knows because he doesn't trust us, which means that we can't trust him. Stop talking yourself in neurotic circles and just get to the cabin already. Do you see the way he keeps pushing us? We have to get out of here.
C'est tout ce que je voulais savoir.
Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
On se casse. Après tout, qu'est-ce que ça va faire, hein? Si elle nous voit pas dans le chalet, y a pas de problème. C'est quoi si on tourne les talons?
This is good. I was worried you might fall for his shit again, but this is good. Whatever answers there are to be found, they aren't here, and they definitely aren't there. Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave? Do you even know where you're going?
Ah, vous lâchez pas le morceau. Bon, c'est d'accord, je vais aller au chalet et tuer votre princesse. Bon d'accord, je vais aller au chalet et parler à la princesse. Peut-être que je la tuerai, peut-être pas, on verra bien. Oui, je sais très bien où je vais. Pas du tout. La chose la plus importante, c'est l'endroit où je n'irai pas. Le chalet, je n'irai pas au chalet. En fait, je serais plutôt satisfait en cas de fin du monde. Je me réjouis à l'idée d'une autre nouvelle différente. Mais bon, je vais marcher, mais dans la direction... Ok. Avancer en silence sur le sentier qui s'éloigne du chalet. Pas du tout.
Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all.
Faites encore demi-tour et partir encore.
Really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies. Like, dies. Forever. But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came.
Wait, something isn't right. Can you still hear me? You're supposed to wind up back at the cabin again. But everything is getting fuzzy. What's going on? Where are we? It's finally happened, hasn't it? We finally cracked.
Le monde autour de vous se défait et la matière est remplacée par des nuances de néant. Il n'y a pas un bruit. Vous entendez un grondement lointain, un son composé d'un tas d'autres. La vibration s'intensifie tandis qu'une autre présence se rapproche. Des récepteurs palpent le tissu de la réalité. Leurs extrémités atteignent votre conscience et la grippent. Vous n'êtes plus seul. Une résistance. Les doigts griffent la surface vitrée de votre âme. Un sentiment de frustration. Remplissez ce réceptacle. Il me faut une forme creuse dans laquelle m'infiltrer. Il faut qu'elle me ressemble. C'est un cauchemar, je dois me réveiller. Ce n'en est pas un. Génial. Ah, il a trouvé son anglais. Oh purée, c'est bête ça. Le jeu en français, mais trouvé son anglais.
You're on a path
Oh.
in the woods.
Super.
And at the end of that path,
Honnêtement, c'est cool.
cabin. And in
Voilà, on a
place
fait une
of
fin
the
du coup.
cabin Is a princess.
Ok.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Ok. Vous passez les dialogues déjà rencontrés en appuyant sur la touche R1 de votre manette. Oh. Là. Et vous envisagez qu'elle pourrait causer la fin du monde. L'exécution d'une princesse, c'est ici un peu moral. Une option chargée. Sur ça, ouais. Fin du monde. Ah, sauvegarde rapide, efficace. Ok, d'accord. Si je le fais, vais-je recevoir une quelconque récompense? Oh, vas-y, on va dire ça. Oui, mais vous devez d'abord l'oxyre pour ça. Ok. Ah, génial, j'ai toujours rêvé d'exécuter une souveraine. Vive la révolution.
That's the spirit.
Ah, c'est l'esprit.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within.
Mhm.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Allez, on entre. Maintenant qu'on en sait un peu plus...
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want.
Alors, on va prendre la lame.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
On y va.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below.
Alors. On va continuer à descendre les escaliers.
You're still listening to reason. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world? Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Ouais, n'importe quoi, quoi. Ouais, je suis démasqué, je suis effectivement là pour vous tuer. Je suis démasqué.
That isn't a good idea. Just drop the knife, and maybe the two of us can talk things out.
She's right, we shouldn't. We should just drop the blade. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. But killing someone in cold blood isn't very...
Passer les trucs. Non, on va renforcer la prise.
You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be. I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the...
Ah, si, je pouvais passer. Il y a des petits bugs encore sur certains trucs. Alors. Essayez de nous tuer, vous êtes certain qu'elle n'a pas d'arme, Pas question de poser, madame. Ah. On va auxilier la princesse.
Doubt, unfortunately, clouds your thoughts as you attempt to run her through. A moment of distraction and hesitation is all she needed to sidestep your thrust and deliver a catastrophic blow to your jaw.
Oh, c'est pris une percute.
It feels like you've been hit with a sledgehammer. You can feel bone grinding on bone where your jaw has been fractured. Holy shit, that hurts! Though she's unarmed, the shock of that first strike is enough to stagger you, putting you and the princess on somewhat equal footing. Your blade slashes through the air again and again, and her fists connect with your body as many times or more, each impact as heavy as that first bone-crushing hit. We can still turn this around.
Ah, dans une certaine situation, on peut fuir visiblement la... On peut fuir et l'enfermer. Mais après, ça veut dire que ça retourne en fait à la même situation. Non, fini le travail, on sait qu'elle est dangereuse.
You and the princess stare at each other, both gasping for breath, equally exhausted. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can at least make sure that she won't make it out of here either. Excuse me? Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone is still standing right now. Can you not feel all those ruptured organs bouncing around in there? If the princess doesn't do our friend in herself, internal bleeding is certain to finish the job. The two of you clash for the final time.
On a une main
Feel
bizarre
your
quand
ribs
même.
break as she delivers a heavy blow, but you push through the pain. falling forward and sinking your blade deep into the princess's heart.
Oh.
The two of you fall to the floor.
This was fun.
The princess gasps, her voice an unhealthy rasp as her lungs start to fill with blood.
You put up more of a fight than I thought you would. But I have to wonder, do you really think this is the end?
But you don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Mhm.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her.
Mais j'ai déjà aussi un princesse. D'accord, elle aussi, elle m'a tué, mais je l'ai eu, c'est sûr. Qu'est-ce que je fais encore ici?
I can assure you that you didn't slay her and that she didn't kill you. People don't just spring back to life after dying, and the two of us are meeting for the very first time.
Mhm.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. That's fine. It doesn't matter if he can hear us. The only thing that matters is marching up to that cabin and winning. That's the spirit. There's no point in squabbling when the real threat is just up that hill.
Admettons que je dise la vérité et que tout cela se soit déjà produit. Pourquoi devrais je vous écouter? Pourquoi m'embêter à faire tout ça?
Those are two very different questions, but fine. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or you died last time. We did our best with the information we were given. And yet you still died, didn't you? So congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We killed the princess killed us, and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? Had you failed to slay the princess, what would have happened to everyone in the place you left? Ugh, enough with the talking. We've got a fight to win. Nothing else matters. I couldn't agree more. The cabin and your destined confrontation with the princess awaits.
Ok, on avance. Let's go.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
Mhm.
Lying and cheating doesn't sound like her at all. Not that it matters. It's not like she can lie or cheat in the middle of a fight.
Are you sure about that? The point of my warning wasn't to start an argument over what circumstances the princess is capable of lying in. It was to the princess will do and say whatever she thinks it will take to get her out of there. So don't trust her. Ever. Are we clear?
Crystal. Let's just get on with it already.
Allez, la bagarre. C'est parti.
The cabin is tighter than its exterior.
Ça a changé.
Its cold stone walls press in on you, as if trying to forcefully direct you towards your destination. The only furniture of note is a black iron altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
See? Even the cabin has the right idea. Let's get moving.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Mhm. Vous n'avez pas mentionné le miroir accroché au mur.
That's because there isn't a mirror. There's the altar, The blade sitting on the altar and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here.
Bah si.
There's definitely a mirror. There isn't.
Ah si.
You already wasted so much time in the woods. Who even cares if there's a mirror?
Ah si, c'est important. Je me fous pas de savoir si on ment. Moi, ça m'importe. Je veux voir à quoi je ressemble. Je veux voir si je suis beau. Vas-y. Moi, ça m'importe.
I care less about that and more about whether we're being lied to. If he's willing to lie about something as innocuous as a mirror, what else is he hiding from us?
Qu'est-ce qu'on cache d'autre, Maï?
Not lying to you. Use your eyes. There is no mirror. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would it even do?
Le chalet est différent de la dernière fois.
Very different. Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess. So focus up. The world is depending on you.
Ah, je vais voir le miroir.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny.
Essuie le miroir.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But it was there a second ago. And now it's gone, so all of us can stop arguing about it and get to fighting.
On prend la lame.
You take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
Allons-y.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a rough stone staircase, its walls pressing at your sides and tightening as you descend. The air.
Mince. L'air alors.
Her fierce voice
Oh, jeez.
carries up the stairs.
Is that another challenger? Finally. It's been ages since I've had a good fight.
This isn't what she sounded like last time. Her voice is a little deeper, almost threatening. Good. Sounds like my kind of princess. As much as I appreciate the enthusiasm, just make sure you don't let your bloodlust get to your head. You need to stay focused and keep your wits about you. Remember, you're here to slay the princess, not to have a good fight. As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view. A large shackle leading from her wrist to the basement wall. Looks like she could rip those chains out of the wall without a second thought.
Oh, it's you again. I've been hoping you'd find your way back here. Good to see that death doesn't stick for either of us. And you brought your little knife, too. Yes! I'm going to have fun breaking you into little pieces.
Ah, c'est trop bien. Elle est au courant qu'il y a eu un essai avant. J'espère que vous avez tout entendu, monsieur le narrateur. C'est très différent de notre dernière rencontre, mais en tout cas, elle est bel et bien eu lieu.
Okay, fine. Let's say for a moment I believe you. For all we know, whatever happened to you last time was just a fluke, and beyond that, do you know who doesn't remember anything that happened last time? Me. I don't remember what happened last time. Are you okay? Of course I'm not okay. As far as we're all concerned, the fate of my world is still very much on the line. Not all of us have the luxury of jumping over to a parallel universe the second we die.
Merci pour vous libérer. Je ne dis pas que je refuse de combattre, mais avant toute chose, nous avons tous les deux des points à tirer au clair. Comment se fait-il que vous soyez encore en vie pour commencer? J'ignorais que vous allez arriver. J'ignore ce qu'il vous est arrivé depuis notre dernière rencontre, mais je refuse de combattre une géante démoniaque. Adieu. Voilà. Vous avez l'air différente.
You look exactly the same.
Alors vous vous souvenez de moi?
Oh, I remember you all right. Best 3 minutes of my life. So, why don't we do it again?
See? She wants to fight us again. There's no reason for us to stand around talking.
Alors, je ne refuse pas de combattre, mais avant toute chose, nous avons tous les deux des points à tirer au clair. Comment se fait-il que nous soyons encore en vie pour commencer?
What is there to unpack? I was dead and now I'm not, and the same goes for you. There. Unpacking done. Don't you get it? We've been given free rein to wail on each other. Forever.
Mhm.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Je n'ai pas encore décidé ce que je vais faire. Bah bagarre, hein. Moi je dis, on est dans la run bagarre, on va faire la bagarre. Hein. Bon. Je n'ai pas encore décidé ce que je vais faire.
And why not? You decided what to do with me quickly enough last time. Are you scared I'm going to kill you again? Maybe you're worried I'll put you down for good this time.
Mhm.
If you want to talk, I guess I can talk. But you should come a little closer first.
Alors, j'ai un peu peur que si on s'approche, ça se passe mal. Parce qu'après tout, là, c'est plus la même princesse. Hein. En même temps, je suis curieux. Je suis curieux. On va s'approcher. Let's go.
Blade held tight in your hand, you take a cautious step towards the princess. You stop a few feet short of her reach, her chains taut as she stares down at you. She's a lot bigger than I thought she was. Why do you sound so scared? We can take her.
Well, what do you want? Because every second we waste talking is a second we could spend killing each other instead.
Alors, pourquoi tenez-vous tant à ce qu'on s'entretue?
Why wouldn't I want that? Why don't you want that? It felt good last time. It felt right. And it makes sense.
On ne pourrait pas juste, je sais pas, s'entraîner? Il existe peut-être un compromis qui satisferait tout le monde. Personne n'a besoin de mourir et le monde n'a pas à être anéanti. Alors, si tout ce qui vous tient à cœur, c'est de vous mesurer à moi, est-ce que ça veut dire que vous n'anéantirez pas le monde? Vous ne voulez pas retrouver votre liberté? Que s'est-il passé après votre mort? Nous devons comprendre pourquoi nous sommes ici. Vous avez enfermé ici, puis on m'a envoyé pour vous tuer. Il y a forcément une raison. Alors, bon, vous voulez que vous batte, c'est ça? Vous n'allez pas être déçus. Il y a des bonnes questions. Alors, si tout ce qui vous tient à cœur est de me dire à moi, est-ce que ça veut dire que vous n'anéantirez pas le monde?
The world? If there's a world, I haven't seen it. There's you, and there's me, and there's the ground beneath our feet. Why would I care about ending something I've never seen?
Bizarre. Que s'est-il passé après votre mort?
I woke up, didn't you?
D'accord. Vous êtes différentes.
I know, you already told me.
Vous n'avez aucune blessure.
You don't either.
Pas vous. Le sous-sol est différent.
I like it. It's so cramped. Like the only way out of here is through each other.
Rien de tout ça ne vous dérange? Ça ne vous importe pas de savoir qui vous êtes?
Ugh, I care, okay? I guess I just care differently than you. When I saw you come back down here, I thought you would understand. I thought that we would want the same thing. But all you've done is ask me annoying little questions. It's like you don't even want to enjoy being alive.
I wish you could hear me right now. I want to enjoy being alive. I want to fight.
Mhm. Voilà, sinon on peut juste easy.
That's right, not everything has to be so violent.
That's pathetic. I would never do that, and I hate that you even suggested it.
Ok, on en reste là. Vous voulez pas retrouver votre liberté?
Free?
princess glances down at her chains.
Oh, you mean these? They're just metal. They're nothing.
She steps forward, her bindings creaking under the pressure of her strength. And then they snap. It was only a matter of time, but she's loose. Dear Lord, what do we do?
Bah la bagarre. Hein.
Took the blade. How about you use it? Exactly. We do exactly what I've been telling you to do since the second we got here. We fight her, we kill her, we win.
What? Did you think you were safe standing right outside my grasp? The only reason I haven't drawn blood is because I want to make sure that your heart is in it. I don't like fighting someone with a weak spirit. But go ahead. Keep trying my patience.
Alors, nous comprendre pourquoi nous sommes ici.
We don't, because I know why we're here. We're here to kill each other.
We're here to kill each other? It sounds like she doesn't care if she dies here. Maybe we can use that to our advantage. How boring. I'm not interested in watching you try and outwit her. I'm interested in overpowering her. We shouldn't need to use any dirty little tricks to win.
Alors, je m'interroge pas sur notre présence ici d'un point de vue existentiel, mais les interrogations sont beaucoup plus terre à terre. Pourquoi êtes-vous enfermé dans ce sous-sol? Qui m'envoie vos auxiliaires? Pourquoi moi? Pourquoi vous? Les réponses existent forcément quelque part. À nous de les trouver. Vous enfermez ici, puis on m'a envoyé pour vous tuer. Il y a forcément une raison. On est ici parce que certains individus veulent que je vous exécute. Oh, il y a forcément une raison, vous ne voulez pas la connaître?
I don't need to care, because I already know what I am. I've already found my purpose.
The princess flashes a sinister grin.
You.
Does she mean her purpose is killing us? No, she means fighting us. She means both of us getting stronger through sheer pain and will, the fear of death no longer able to hold us back. Just start stabbing her already. I'm sick of all this anticipation. We're ready.
Alors, on va juste s'entraîner, etc. Vous voulez vous battre, ça? Vous n'allez pas être déçus. Ça se trouve, justement, il y avait un choix de dialogue à faire pour faire un truc différent. Peut-être moyen. Vous voulez battre, ça? Vous n'allez pas être déçus.
Finally ready to complete your destined task, you launch off the wet stone floor of the basement and catapult yourself headlong towards the princess. Here we go. Let's make this count. Oh, we'll make it count, all right. As you bridge the gap, your blade slashes across the princess's chest, splitting skin and drawing a jagged line of bright red blood. But she's unfazed by your onslaught. Her expression barely changes as her fist collides with your ribs, cracking them like twigs and driving you right back down to the basement floor. She almost looks disappointed in us. Why is she disappointed in us?
Oh, you don't actually get it, do you? That knife may be sharp, but you clearly don't want to kill me. It's not fun if you hesitate. It's not fun if you try to trick me and make me bleed out. It's only fun if you go straight for the heart. You need to put everything you have into seeing me dead. Or what's the point? So don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. Kill me.
Don't let her get in your head. Reincarnation or not, this world needs you to win. She's huge, but that probably means she's slower than us. Take it slow, think it through, and don't panic. Bleeding her out is our best course of action. Don't listen to them. She understands something that they don't. The only way to win, the only way out of this is through her.
Créer une ouverture et tenter de vous montrer plus malin qu'elle. L'attaquer de front. Les deux sont tentants. Hein. On fait créer une ouverture, ça peut être... peut-être gagner, mais pas sûr. Mais attaquer de front, c'est sûr qu'on va crever et qu'on va refaire notre chapitre. Bon allez. On va tenter de se montrer plus malin qu'elle. Allez, c'est parti.
You push yourself off the ground and attack the princess, trying to bait an opening. You do your best to outplay her, slashing out and leaving red cuts in the tattered remains of her white dress. But you have little room to maneuver. For every glancing blow you manage to land, she slams you against the wall in retaliation, each impact threatening to be the last. This weak little dance isn't working. Just toughen up and overpower her. She's throwing us around like a ragdoll. I think overpowering her is a little out of the question.
Did you think you could stop me with a few cuts? All this dancing around is doing nothing but annoying me. I own this place, and I own you.
The princess's arm shoots forward, her palm wrapping around your head, fingers gripping your scalp.
How disappointing.
She squeezes, the pressure unbearable as her fingers dig into your scalp. The last thing you hear is the unsettling crack of your skull and the sickening churn of what was your grey matter. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Ah, chapitre droit. Bon. C'est pas passé comme prévu.
You're on a path in the wood. If you weren't so damned afraid of what she'd do to you, we wouldn't have died back there. Fear is good. Fear keeps us alive. We died because you didn't have enough of it. So what? You'd have us cower in a corner? No, but that place suits her better than it suits us. She's big. We can't hope to find holes and openings down there. We need more room if we're going to survive. Are you suggesting luring her into the woods? Do you have any idea how dangerous that would be? If you lose sight of her, if she manages to slip away, that's it. Game over for everyone, yourself included. Are you not challenging us on all the looping? Have you known about it the whole time? Are you the same one we've been talking to since the beginning? Sorry to disappoint what I'm sure must feel like a grand revelation, but that's not what's going on here. We've never met. It doesn't matter. We could go in circles forever. I don't like staying still for too long. Let's get to the cabin, see this through. It's good to know that at least one of you is still capable of reason. We may have the same destination, but we're not the same. You are still an other, and I don't trust you.
Alors, nous ne nous sommes pas attardés sur les changements qu'a subi cet endroit. Peut-on vraiment encore parler de bois? C'est encore si le monde entier subissait son influence. Et si je refusais de suivre le plan? Et si je préférais agir autrement? Peu importe ce qui doit arriver, toutes les réponses nous attendent visiblement à l'intérieur du chalet. Autant voir où ça nous mène. Alors c'est un chien mélange. J'en ai plein d'autres de cette histoire. Salut! On va plutôt dire ça.
It's evidence of one of many ticking clocks. You can't let her spread any further. Things are always changing. She changed, the cabin changed, we've changed. Why wouldn't the woods change too? Because they're not supposed to have changed. This is supposed to be a path in the woods. If it's not, it means something's gone horribly wrong.
Et si je refuse de suivre le plan? Et si je préférais agir autrement? Dans arriver, toutes les réponses nous attendent visiblement à l'intérieur du chalet. Autant voir où ça nous mène. On va quand même dire ça. Et si je refusais de suivre le plan? Et si je préférais agir autrement?
You're the chooser. The best we can do is advise. But we can help if you let us. These are just powerless thoughts and opinions. You don't need to let them drag you and the world to ruin.
Bon, peu importe ce qui doit arriver, toutes les réponses nous attendent visiblement à l'intérieur du chalet. Autant voir où ça nous mène.
It isn't long before you find yourself at the end of the path, staring up the hill at the cabin. I hope you've given serious thought to your predicament. No last advice for us? No words of warning? From what I gather, you've heard it all before. There's no use screaming into the wind. I don't know, screaming sounds pretty good right about now. I could use a little catharsis. Catharsis is for when we're finished. For now, we need to hold it out in front of us, something to chase.
La voix du traqué, elle est vraiment très basse. Hein. Je sais pas si vous l'entendez. Allez, on entre.
The interior of the cabin is suffocatingly tight, more of a glorified tunnel than a building. Its stone walls squeeze against your sides, leaving you no choice but to press forward. The only furniture of note is an iron altar jutting out from the wall, a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you're going to do this right. See? We have even less space than before. We need space or she'll kill us. And the only space is out there. Take it.
Alors... Vous mettez toujours le miroir. Hein. Il est impossible d'aller plus loin, c'est un cul-de-sac avec un simple miroir au bout. Voilà, vous mettez toujours le miroir. Hein.
Maybe it'll go away again. For something to go away, it would have to be there to begin with. And let me assure you, there's no mirror here. The only thing at the end of the room is the door to the basement. No use arguing. Mirror or not, we need to be there. The why we pick doesn't matter. I agree with the freak. Let's get a move on already. And worst comes to worst, we can smash it.
On va quand même prendre la lame.
You take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Good. There's no overcoming her without it. We need every part of us to survive, and that steel claw is as much a part of us as any.
Et on s'approche du miroir.
You step forward and approach the door to the basement, hesitating before you open it, as if you don't see it. You're rather committed to the bit, aren't you? The door's right there, it's right in front of you. This really is just like last time. It smells of nothing, yet it's still there.
Essuie le miroir.
Reach forward and drag your hand across the door leading to the basement. As if on command, it slowly slides open, scraping against the floor as it reveals the dim path ahead. Why am I not surprised? It was in our way, and now it's not. That's all that matters. Before you is what may as well be a sheer cliff face. There are enough footholds that you'll be able to clamber your way to the bottom, but it will require careful effort. The air hissing up from below is warm and wet, like the breath of an enemy locked in close quarters. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice, bold and fierce and impatient, echoes from the chamber below.
Do you have more fight in you than last time? That was such a disappointing show. I know you can do better than that.
Goad her. Rile her up. If she's angry, she'll make mistakes.
Je sais que vous pouvez quitter cet endroit sans aucune aide. Vous êtes sûr de vraiment vouloir vous battre? Je sais que vous pouvez quitter cet endroit sans aucune aide.
But that wouldn't be fun. I don't want to be a monster chasing you down. I want to face you head on. I want an equal. It's so much better that way.
We need to get closer. She needs to see us to give chase.
Allez, on continue.
You've nowhere to go but down. You start the difficult journey, gripping the stone, lowering yourself foot by grueling foot. But soon, there is solid ground beneath you. Remember, every crack and crevice will need to be faster than her. You turn to face what lies at the end of the narrow tunnel. The princess, imposing and tightly muscled, grins back at you from the darkness. Her face widens into a broad grin.
There you are, knife in hand. How thrilling! Attack me, bleed me, twist the blade in my flesh, break your bones against my body. I want a real challenge this time.
We can't get that close. She'll kill us in the tight space, steel claw or not. Make her come to us, stand beyond her chains, and let her become frenzied. She'll break them. Then we run. I really don't like the sound of this. It's the only way we live.
Well, what are you waiting for? If we're gonna do this right, you can't be scared. You need to want this as much as I do. So go on. Make the first move. Don't keep me waiting.
Alors, si on discutait un peu, on pourra toujours se battre après, mais d'abord, j'ai des questions à vous poser. J'aimerais savoir ce qu'il s'est passé après ma mort la dernière fois.
We've talked plenty. I'm sick of talking. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of you standing just out of reach and teasing me with a fight you won't let me have. You disappointed me last time, so you don't get to choose what happens next.
Bloody desire in her eyes, the princess rushes forward, ignoring her chains as they bend and snap. Run. Without hesitation, you turn back the way you came and scramble up the ledge towards the tunnel entrance. As you near the top, hands desperately clawing at jagged stone, you glance back. The princess is right on your heels. She doesn't bother to scale the wall as you do, instead digging deep into the rock of the cliff face with her fingertips in her rabid pursuit.
Anywhere you go, I will follow.
Good.
Tant mieux, tant mieux.
Reach the ledge and hoist yourself up into the tunnel, the cabin door finally in sight, at once within your grasp and infinitely distant.
What is all of this for? What's the point? You and I are always going to end in violence, so why bother to run? I know what I am. Why can't you be the same? Little bird, where do you think you're going?
We're almost there. Don't think about almost. We're there when we're there. And we'll take the fight with us. Your skin hums tight with adrenaline as you burst through the cabin door and roll onto the grass. You glance back at the cabin as the princess, singular in her desire to destroy you, explodes through the doorway. You are walking a dangerous path. If you waver once, it's all over. So get it right.
There's nothing left to slow me down. Do you think this is better for you? Do you think this space gives you an edge? Then show me! Show me that you've been worth all the room you've taken up in my head!
Do it. Be swift, strike true, be where she's not. Let your body move you.
Dans ce que vous voulez, vous êtes libre à présent et j'ai le dessus. On n'est pas obligé de se battre. Vous êtes tombé dans mon piège.
Oh, we'll see about that. Traps aren't real. The only thing that's real is bloodshed.
She charges, fully determined to end you in a single move. Left, now! As the princess strikes, your body swerves to the left. She overextends, stumbling as her balance shifts unexpectedly. Strike. Before you can finish the thought, you lash out, the blade slicing through her leg. She turns to swing again. Right. You move out of the way, but this time it's not quite as clean. You can feel a bruise already blooming where her elbow crashed into flesh. It's nothing. A scratch. Yes, it could be worse. And you managed to gift her another cut in return. I'll bet we're actually going to pull this off, aren't we? You just might. But don't let it get to your head. Not until it's over.
Yes, finally! This is the hole I felt in my heart. This is what I've needed. This is what I've been missing. This is how it always needed to end. Both of us giving it our all, beating and bleeding each other to death.
The two of you engage in a devastating flurry of blows, each of you wounding the other again and again. She's stronger, but you're faster, and the deeper the both of you fall into your lethal dance, the more your edge shines over hers. She's slowing down, blood pouring from wounds, splattering at her feet, leaving her weak and unsteady. More! Keep going! We can't stop! Now! You spy an opening, but this time she's waiting for you. She lets you sink the blade deep, trapping you in place long enough to wrap you in her impenetrable arms. You're slammed to the ground. Nothing! These blows are nothing to us! But her gambit wasn't enough to close the gap. It wasn't enough to kill you. She stares you down, coughing up a splash of blood as she gasps for breath.
You've outplayed me, haven't you? Something feels wrong. Something.
And? Then what happens?
Vous n'avez pas l'occasion de répondre. Quelque chose s'est emparé d'elle et une autre a pris sa place.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
Alors, j'ignorais les parties et je ne sais même pas par où commencer pour la retrouver. Le narrateur a disparu. Je crois que je suis censé regarder ce miroir. Ouais, le narrateur a disparu.
It is. Does that mean the world ended? It hasn't ended. We're still here. The world didn't end. We're still here. Come on. We just need to keep going.
Bien par les parties et je ne sais même pas par où commencer pour la retrouver.
Right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing. It's like it's mocking us. Let's just stay still.
Je crois que je crois que je suis censé regarder dans ce miroir.
There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should. That thing reeks of death. Screw the mirror. We just need to find the princess.
On n'a pas le choix, on
I'm
s'approche.
begging you, don't do this.
Le miroir ne vous a jamais fait peur avant?
It's different now. It feels, I don't know, final.
Vous approchez du miroir. Contemplez votre reflet. Vous tendez la main dans un silence absolu. Les voix sont parties, et le miroir est toujours là. Il est temps que vous découvriez ce qui s'y cache. C'est vous. C'est quoi le trophée qu'on a eu, du coup? Ah ok. Super. Vous vous retrouvez seul dans un espace complètement vide. Il n'y a pas un bruit ici. Avancez vers le chalet. Vous êtes au chalet. L'approchez. Vous reconnaissez la présence au milieu de cette enveloppe. C'est l'entité qui vit dans l'espace entre les mondes.
Something returns to the long quiet. It has surrendered its path of annihilation and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
C'est vous que j'ai rencontré dans l'espace à l'extérieur des bois, pas vrai? Je pensais que c'était un rêve. L'extérieur des bois? Est-ce que le jeu a conscience qu'on a déjà fait une partie et qu'on est mort justement? Voilà, on peut poser toutes les questions. Ah oui, vas-y. Alors déjà, c'est vous que j'ai rencontré dans l'espace à l'extérieur des bois, pas vrai? Je pensais que c'était un rêve.
Vague recollections, empty tunnels without a mouth. I am sorry if I frightened you.
Qu'êtes-vous?
I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you?
Lumière solitaire? Que voulez-vous dire?
Thoughts without connections. A dim and nascent network. I wish to be more.
Quelle est ma véritable nature à votre avis?
I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks.
Un réceptacle fragile?
Yes, nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond,
perspectives to make my own. This one remembers a spark lost in time, and she would stop at nothing to reclaim it. She will make for a burning heart. Do not mourn her. She has finally remembered what she thought she'd lost.
Est-ce que c'est la fin du monde?
How can the world have ended if we are talking?
Connaissez-vous le narrateur?
You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us.
Est-ce vous qui m'avez demandé de cire la princesse? Est-ce vous qui m'avez enfermé ici?
I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here, and I too yearn to be free.
Avez-vous connaissance des mondes qui existent en dehors de cet endroit?
I know only that they are.
Ok. Êtes-vous la princesse?
She is part of me, and part of me is her.
Avez-vous toujours été la princesse ou la forcez-vous à faire partie de vous?
You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends?
Laissez-la partir.
I'm sorry. There are some changes that can never be undone. There are some tears that can never be unshed. This is not a place that can hold a fragment of a concept. The moment she arrived here, she was going to return to me. I promise that it doesn't hurt.
Ah, si on fait ça, il y a moyen de continuer, non? Que fait-on maintenant?
Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
Ne craignez-vous pas que je trouve un moyen de vous tuer?
I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
Qu'est-ce que je vais oublier exactement?
Everything, until we meet again.
Combien d'autres fragments de vous est-ce que je dois vous rapporter?
More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home.
Si je refuse de vous laisser faire?
Then we will be here forever, as we are now. Unfinished, dry, hollow.
On m'a demandé de cire la princesse pour l'empêcher de provoquer l'apocalypse. Si je vous aide, est-ce réellement ce que vous comptez faire?
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
Vous ne répondez pas vraiment à la question. Qu'allez-vous faire si je décide de vous aider?
How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated.
Je ne vais pas y retourner.
If you need time, then I'll wait with you.
Attendre pour l'éternité. Let's go.
You are as I am now, and forever is a long time to remain undone. I am not you, but I know that I would return before forever was finished. What textures will you weave for yourself to occupy forever? Will you place the images of you and I into a box for safekeeping? If you close that box, will you become another you in another world? An imaginary pattern repeating itself
until it can no longer bear the weight of its hand-drawn cage. You'll always come back to the box, because you'll always want to know what it means to be you. I will be here waiting by your side until you're ready to return to mine.
Ah. Ah d'accord. Bon. Bah je crois qu'on n'a pas le choix. Hein.
I see you have returned to me. Days mean nothing in the maw of forever. I never left your side.
Ouais, d'accord. Ok.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Le monde autour de vous s'obscurcit et la vie vous abandonne. Ouais.
You're on a path in the woods.
Let's
At
go.
the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Et franchement, c'est super sympa. Franchement, c'est super cool. On va essayer de faire d'autres trucs. Hop. On va faire une petite pause avant. Et allons-y, retournons voir la princesse pour essayer de faire un autre chemin.
You're here to slay her.
Ah, alors. Oui, voici, avez-vous envisagé qu'elle pourrait causer la fin du monde uniquement parce qu'elle est enfermée? Une exécution d'une princesse... C'est un truc qu'on a déjà dit. Hein. J'ai toujours rêvé d'exécuter une soirée. Ah d'accord, merci de me dire ce que je dois faire.
Don't mention it. It's all part of the job.
Ça on l'avait pas dit.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
On entre. Dans tous les cas, il faut entrer.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement.
On va passer. On va descendre directement. On va voir ce que ça fait de descendre directement sans la lame.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below.
L'ambiance est oppressante. L'air est lourd et humide et une odeur
Her
sans la
voice
déjà eu.
softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Bonjour. Ouais, je viens vous sauver, ouais. Donc je suis là pour vous exécuter. On va dire bonjour.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Please, come downstairs.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
Un instant, prenons le temps de discuter d'abord.
Okay.
Alors, comment vous appelez-vous?
Oh,
She pauses, carefully formulating her words before she responds.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness. Or you can just call me Princess if Your Royal Highness is too formal.
Is Princess her name or her title? What if it's both? Could you imagine being named Princess Princess?
C'est donc princesse, c'est votre nom.
Like I said, you can call me Princess if you'd like.
C'est louche.
I'm sorry, I've been down here so long I guess I've just forgotten. I must have a name though. Everyone has a name.
Okay, that's weird.
Ah, c'est bizarre.
She hadn't even thought to pick a name for herself. Hopefully you're starting to see that she can't be trusted. Go back upstairs, get the blade and slay her before it's too late.
Je ne sais rien de vous, mais j'imagine qu'on vous a enfermé ici pour une raison.
Of course I'm locked up down here for a reason. I don't actually know what that reason is, but you don't just stuff a princess in a basement and throw away the key without there being some sort of an explanation, right?
You have all the explanation you need, and you should know better than to trust whatever she comes up with.
Si vous n'avez vu personne depuis longtemps, comment avez-vous fait pour vous nourrir ou pour boire?
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
This is the only time this is ever going to happen, but I agree with the princess. That's hardly relevant. Okay, but actually, what has she been eating? She has to eat, right?
On m'a envoyé ici pour vous tuer, apparemment vous voulez anéantir le monde. Mais je n'ai pas confiance en vous, ça ne tient pas debout, je ne peux pas prendre le risque de vous prendre au mot alors que le destin du monde est entre vos mains. Remonter, récupérer la lame, ok. Je n'arrive pas à croire qu'on ait pu vous retenir prisonnier ainsi, je vais vous sortir d'ici. Bon, je vais vous sortir d'ici, mais ne me le faites pas regretter. Bon, d'abord, on m'a envoyé ici pour vous tuer. Apparemment, vous voulez anéantir le monde. Mais je ne crois pas que vous représentiez un danger, mais je voulais voir de mes propres yeux, je ne sais toujours pas trop quoi penser. Je commence à penser que c'est vrai. Il y a quelque chose qui cloche chez vous. Non, je sais toujours pas quoi penser.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think.
Comment ça, je crois?
I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down here for so long.
That's... How long has she been locked away?
Did they tell you how I'm supposed to end the world?
Qu'allez-vous faire si je vous laisse sortir? Ah, j'espérais que vous me le diriez. Non, mais j'imagine qu'on en a pas... j'espérais que vous me le diriez.
I don't know how to destroy the world, if that's what you're getting at.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. I don't trust that, and I don't think you do either, or you wouldn't have come down here to talk.
She has a point. We're talking like this for a reason.
So this shouldn't be about what I'd do if I got out of here, or me saying the right thing to convince you to save me. This is about how messed up this whole situation is. This is my life we're talking about. Do you really think I can even end the world? Why would I even want to? We both know that if there's people we can't trust in this situation, it's whoever locked me down here, and it's whoever sent you here. And those two groups are probably one and the same.
Don't let her turn the tables here. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch, no less.
Alors, je ne vais pas vous tuer, mais je ne vais pas vous libérer pour autant se risquer, et si je restais un peu pour tenir compagnie, tout le monde serait content comme ça. Mais je n'ai pas confiance en vous. Ça ne tient pas debout, je ne peux pas prendre le risque de vous prendre au mot alors que le destin du monde est entre vos mains. Montez et récupérer la lame sans dire un mot. Je n'arrive pas à croire qu'on ait pu vous retenir prisonnière ainsi. C'est ici. Bon, je vais vous sortir d'ici, mais ne me faites pas rêver. Non, le truc, je ne vais pas vous tuer, mais je ne vais pas vous libérer pour autant. C'est trop risqué. Et si je restais un peu pour vous tenir compagnie? Tout le monde serait content comme ça.
That seems like a pretty good compromise.
I don't think I could bear being down here that much longer.
Leaving her alive is too risky. If you don't deal with her soon, she will find a way out. So I'm the only one who liked that idea.
One way or another, I'm going to find a way out of here. It would make it easier for both of us if you'd help. But if you don't, I can promise that you'll regret that decision.
You have to make a choice. Let's hope for all our sakes it's the right one.
Elle a commencé à changer. Mhm.
Thank
Je récupère la lame.
you.
Let's
Turn
go.
back to the stairs, intent on retrieving the blade in the cabin.
Where are you going? You can't just leave me here.
Slip these
Mince,
chains.
j'ai passé le dé le truc.
She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here. But do you hear the conviction in her voice? I don't think she's bluffing. She has to be bluffing, but hurry. You rush up to the first floor, grabbing the blade, both yours and the world's only possible salvation. Okay, if we're sure about this decision, I'll support it. I suppose we have a world to save after all. You slowly creep down the basement stairs. It's quiet. Where the princess sat only a moment ago, there's only a severed arm, its cooling flesh still chained to the wall. And she is nowhere to be seen. Is it just me? Or did this room get a lot bigger?
Salut. Faire salut. Nous sommes partis du mauvais pied, et si on repartait de zéro? On peut dire salut, c'est rigolo. Salut.
Why don't you come closer? I have something to show you.
Finissons-en.
Your eyes dart to the corners of the room. You don't see her.
Elle est en haut.
Where is she?
Mhm. Je vais fermer la porte.
You close the door behind you. Almost magically, its locks immediately click into place. Maybe they'll open if you finish the job.
Voilà. J'attendrai.
Do you want to play a waiting game? I've been down here a long, long time. I'm very good at waiting.
You do your best to patiently wait her out. But eventually, exhaustion starts to set in. Come on, wake up. We can't fall asleep down here.
Patientez
You
encore.
wait for as long as you can, pushing yourself to stay awake and stay vigilant. But you can't outwait someone who's been waiting for as long as she remembers. You barely even realize that you've started to drift off. Pain tears you from your sleep. The princess is upon you, ripping into your flesh, unnaturally sharp teeth and claws severing arteries and digging into organs. There's nothing to be done. You're already half gone. It can't just end like this. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. I'm sorry, but it's over. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Eh bah super. On est mouru.
You're on
Il
a
aurait fallu
path
l'attaquer.
in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And you're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Ok. Oui mais non. Je suis mort, qu'est-ce que je fais ici? Je suis mort, qu'est-ce que je fais ici?
I can assure you that you're not dead, and And to answer your second question, you're here to slay the princess. I literally told you that a second ago. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. If he doesn't remember what
Ah, le
happened,
retour du traqué.
then something else must have trapped us here. You're not trapped here. Nobody's forcing you to do
On a le traqué dès le début cette
The
fois.
only sensible thing for you to do right now is march up to that cabin and slay the princess.
Admettons que je dise la vérité. Ok, bah on va avancer vers le chalet.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. Does a cat lie to a cornered mouse when it plays with its freedom? Or is it just acting out its nature? I don't see why that matters. A lie's a lie, and if anything, she's the one who's cornered. She could have gotten out of there whenever she wanted to. We should trust nothing that she tells us, only what we hear and smell. That's a very roundabout way of saying that you should listen to me and take this seriously. Maybe.
Ok, on monte.
The interior
Voilà.
of the cabin is ruinous and dilapidated. It feels like no one has lived here for a long time, wind rushing in through cracks and holes in the wooden walls. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Ok. Mais pas, vous n'avez pas mentionné le miroir.
Because there isn't a mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't. What a strange thing to lie about. Maybe he doesn't see it. Much like he hasn't seen what's already happened.
Pourquoi est-ce que vous mentirez là-dessus? À quoi ça pourrait bien vous servir?
Exactly. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? That you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done?
S'approcher du miroir.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But it was there a second ago. And now it's gone.
Ok, on redescend.
No steel claw. Do you think we can talk our way out of this? I don't think she wants to talk. I guess we'll just have to trust that we made the right call. It'll still be here if we need it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing what's left of an old wooden staircase. It's still sturdy enough that you can make your way down in one piece, though you'll have to be mindful of holes. The air seeping up from below is oddly warm and wet, as if you're descending into a jungle. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. She growls up the stairs.
I can smell you.
She sounds almost feral, impatient, or maybe eager. You carefully make your way down the stairs. The last step gives way to the damp earth floor of a starlit pit. The walls are obscured by an impenetrable darkness, giving the illusion that the room might stretch on forever. You brush against the wide leaves of plants that surround you on all sides, seemingly the only living things that occupy this strange underground wilderness.
Ça, c'est un peu chiant qu'on n'ait pas tout le dialogue directement d'un coup, quoi.
The jungle is pressing in on us, hiding her from view. She could be anywhere. You see only a flash of the princess before she scurries away into the underbrush, dragging her heavy chain behind her. Remember, she's just a princess. She is certainly not just a princess. You're not helping. It doesn't matter what she is. It only matters what she does. Her shining eyes appear between the leaves, staring hungrily at you from the darkness.
I can hear your heart pounding from the bottom of the stairs, fledgling. You're right to be terrified. I'm so much more than you.
A shiver rushes up your spine and pulls you upright. The air's shifting. She's getting ready to pounce. Move, now.
Alors, tu n'entends pas ce bruit de métal? Elle est toujours enchaînée, tout va bien. Vous comptez m'attaquer? Pareil. Je vois clair dans votre jeu. Nous n'avons pas besoin de nous entretuer. Vous en avez conscience. Nous n'avons pas besoin de nous entretuer. Pour aller où?
Anywhere.
N'importe où. Ça va pas sur une métal? Elle est toujours enchaînée, tout va bien.
Why not? Move. There's a shift in the humid air, and something enormous. The princess lunges from the shadows, her maw unhinged and dripping, her eyes fierce and full of hunger. She is too quick to outrun, too nimble to outmaneuver, too determined to overpower. This is her domain. You are devoured.
Ah.
Yes, that's it then, isn't it? Unfortunately for you, no. This isn't it. You are in a dark and caustic place. A thick, fibrous lining constricts around you, its slick surface impossible to grip. Your hands scrabbling uselessly at your surroundings as they compress in on you. Your lungs can barely expand in such a tiny space.
Ouais, non, les dialogues, c'est un peu mal foutu. Des fois, il y a le narrateur de longues tirades. Et quand tu passes le dialogue, du coup, pour voir la suite de ce qu'il raconte, bah, il raconte plus rien. Ça le stoppe.
Pooling beneath you starts to seep into your skin. You itch, then sting, then burn as the acid begins its slow work.
When I killed you, I tried to leave this place, but it wouldn't let me. You belong down there, it screamed at me. The world is better off without you in it.
The flesh around you rumbles as the princess begins to move, her thundering footfalls twisting you helplessly about. Your skin protests as the corrosive liquid sloshes around you, but there will be no respite for you in sight. The burning grows stronger, and you can feel layers of you being peeled away.
But you don't belong down here. You came from somewhere else. You came from out there. So I consumed your dead heart, and I carried it in my throat, and I draped what was left of you on my back, and I threw myself against that door.
Ah, attendez 2 secondes. Attendez. Attends, c'est pas... Ok. Est-ce qu'il n'y a pas d'autre chose? On n'a pas le gameplay.
She's loose.
But even then, it did.
Je ne serais pas dupé par des restes putrifiés. Je connais ta véritable nature. Tu ne fais que répondre à la souffrance.
Gravity pulls at you as you're hefted upwards, the distant creaking of ancient wooden steps barely audible over the thudding of the princess's heart.
And then it was gone, and I was here. A new enclosure, a nicer cage, but still a prison. I learned from my wounds. You're alive now. We can leave together.
Does that work? Could she free herself if we're alive in here? Do you really need me to give you a definitive answer for you to understand that the situation is grim? Stop her. Do something. We don't have steel, but we have tooth and claw. Tear through her before we are her.
Alors. Vous pouvez parler avec le chalet. Vous auriez pu me demander avant de me dévorer. Ouais, griffer et mordre. J'ai compris, vous pouvez partir. Pouvez-vous en aller, pitié, c'est moi juste. Alors déjà, vous pouvez parler avec le chalet.
I understand it, and it understands me. Talking is for those who don't know how to listen.
Your body is violently jostled, the disruption causing burning skin to slop from raw muscle, and you hear what you can only assume is the princess pulling against the door to the cabin.
The cage is still locked.
I don't think we can talk our way out of this. We are drowning in death. There's no more space for words.
Mhm. Donc il faut que je sois d'accord pour vous libérer, pas vrai? Vous ne pouvez pas m'obliger à vous laisser partir. Si je veux retrouver ma liberté, ce n'est pas que je vais vous rendre la vôtre. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Vous auriez pu me demander avant de me dévorer.
I acted on my will, fledgling, and you acted on yours. The strong triumph, and the weak submit or perish.
The pulling has turned to banging as the princess desperately throws everything at the cabin door. Your flesh screams as your reddened, spongy body is hit with fresh waves of blistering acid.
You can't hold me forever.
Vous ne pouvez pas m'obliger à vous laisser partir.
Every creature craves freedom. You will too before you die.
But will can never truly exceed the limits of the flesh. Your vision finally begins to blur, your eyes clouding over as they melt in their sockets. What little air remains in this rancid stew of flesh and slippery organs is finally too foul to breathe, and your lungs mercifully give out before you have to suffer another burning, liquefying moment. Everything goes dark, and you die.
La nature sauvage. Mhm.
We are a path in the woods. We have no beginning, and we have no end. But something cold and unnatural sits watching us from just beyond our edge. His gaze pushes against our borders, curling them in on themselves, preventing them from stretching to the places they need to reach.
No, that's all wrong. You're not a path in the woods, you're on a path in the woods. Who's even saying that? That's not the princess, is it? Oh no. How many times have you been here? I think this is our third? That's bad. That's very, very bad. It wasn't even supposed to reach 2. If you're at 3, well, no wonder things aren't the way they're supposed to be. Let's get our facts straight. What happened last time? What could you have possibly done for things to be like this?
On s'était fait manger.
The thing that sits beyond our edge speaks his logic into us. He tries to grasp at things that cannot be grasped. He tries to stare with wide pupils at that which can only be held from the corner of the eye or with a passing glance.
Shut up. The rest of you, talk. What happened? What did you do? Can she hear us if we talk?
I can hear everything, little one, but you don't have to be afraid of me. There's no place where you end and I begin. Nothing can hurt you here. Not anymore.
That's just because she devoured us and we dissolved away. We don't even exist as a body anymore. We're still here, though. And if we're safe, Isn't that better? She ate you. And now you're convinced that you're stuck together. What a mess.
He doesn't understand. We aren't convinced of anything, and we aren't stuck together. We're one. This is how we're supposed to be. Can't you feel it?
I guess that's it then. This is us now. We're the woods. Okay.
Alors, c'est cet être qui nous observe. Quelle est sa véritable nature? Comment s'entêter à vouloir agir? Cette situation me convient parfaitement. L'oisiveté, ça a du bon parfois. Pourquoi est-ce que vous êtes gentil avec moi? Pourtant, vous êtes un monstre. Vous m'avez dévoré. Je sens que le monde extérieur fait pression sur nous. Comment peut-on y remédier? Ainsi sommes-nous censés être. Mais maintenant, qu'allons-nous faire? Nous sommes devenus une abomination et je ne le supporte pas, lui. Ne me le faites pas, je possède ma propre personnalité. Normalement, vous n'êtes pas censé en faire partie. Et narrateur, comment je l'arrête? On peut poser quand même une question. Cet être qui nous observe, quelle est sa véritable nature?
I'm not watching you, I'm trying to help you. That's not an answer to our question.
I don't know what he is. I only know that he is something other, and that he wishes for you and I to tear ourselves apart.
I do want that, but only because it's in your best interests. It's in everyone's best interests. You won't be able to slay her unless you remove yourself from her.
He wants us to kill each other.
I don't. I want you to kill her. Don't be charmed by her faux solidarity. You're not in this together. She's the only one who poses a threat to the world, and she's trying to make you go along with it. You don't have to enable her, especially when you have what it takes to stop her.
Donc je vais arrêter la princesse. Que dois-je faire? J'ai l'impression d'être quelque peu limité à l'heure actuelle. Comment s'entêter à vouloir agir? Cette situation me convient parfaitement, vas-y. Ouais. Important, vous êtes dans le moment, vous m'avez dévoré. Après, admettons que je veuille arrêter la princesse. Que dois-je faire? J'ai l'impression d'être quelque peu limité à l'heure actuelle.
You can start by remembering that you exist, and not as some part of a gestalt entity formed with the princess. You exist as your own self, complete with your own physical body, separate from hers. I'm not so sure about that. We were something like that once, but now? And if thinking about that isn't enough to startle you back to reality, consider this. The princess ate you last time. Stop passively vibing with a literal predator and remember that you're enemies. Remember what she's done to you and how much it hurt.
We can't go back to that. We can't go back to the fear and the hunger and the pain. Not after being something as beautiful as this.
Doesn't all that conflict feel so far away right now? So petty? We've been posed against each other by something that understands the strength of our unity.
I can feel a thumping, a heartbeat, like a distant terror that keeps getting louder the more we pay attention.
Please, stop. If you let it in, we'll fall apart.
Don't look at it!
Et toute l'étendue de votre terreur, l'enfouir maintenant avant qu'il ne soit trop tard. Non, on va le contempler. On va faire la masse.
Don't make us remember how I was.
And just like that, you start to fall apart. I can
Super.
remember now. I didn't like being eaten. I'd forgotten how much it burned. And the air was so hard to breathe. She didn't care. She didn't care at all. As you remember the terror and pain you felt at the hands of the princess, you start to remember something else, too. You remember that you are a distinct being with a finite form and a mortal body. You can feel it. There is a shifting of the space around you, the infinitesimal movement of your molecules rearranging back into the shape of what you're meant to be. I don't like this. It's better for us to be the woods. I don't want to go back.
No, I devoured you. I won. I put things back the way they were supposed to be.
Some divisions, when sown, can never truly be mended. A cavernous gash rips across whatever it was you thought you were. A cabin comes into being among the trees. It approaches, and it swallows your body whole. And then you find yourself, blade in hand, exactly where you need to be. At the center of it all is the princess, a wooden and fleshy heart beating with an unbroken rhythm. You're filled with a sense of purpose. Strike at her. End this once and for all.
I feel empty, don't you?
We're just like her, and she's just like us. We never should have left her. I feel safe. She isn't dangerous anymore. We could leave her. We could both live. Do we have to do this? You have to. You know you have to.
Alors, je n'ai jamais vraiment eu l'intention de vous tuer, mais nous ne pouvons pas être indistincts l'un de l'autre. Il fallait que je mette un terme à ce qui nous est arrivé. Trancher ces liens. Après, on peut l'oxy en vie. Ce qui nous est arrivé. C'est quoi si on tranche ces liens? Alors, devient les mêmes? Ah, je suis curieux. Let's go.
You devious little bastard. If you think I'm going to let you free her, you have another thing coming. And that other thing is... We'll just have to wait and find out when it happens. Ignore him. His words only confuse us. Just do it. You're tired, aren't you? No, I'm not. I'm... fine. Whatever. Cut the princess down from the roots that bind her. I hope you're happy. Good luck getting her out of here. I think we are happy, actually. We might not be a part of her, but being around her was almost the same. Almost.
I didn't think you would do that after everything. It's so cold without you.
Vous n'avez pas l'occasion de répondre, et vous ne l'aurez jamais. Il est temps de partir. La mémoire vous revient.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
Évidemment que vous avez peur, c'est fini pour vous, mais pas pour moi. Tout va bien, vous devez me faire confiance. On est déjà venu ici et vous avez toujours peur.
But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything. That thing reeks of death. I don't want to look at us.
C'était pas la fin, l'entité qui se trouve à l'autre côté est aimable. C'est fini pour vous, mais pas pour moi. On sort vers l'autre côté, ne vous inquiétez pas. Ne vous inquiétez pas.
Okay. If you say so, we'll trust you. I'd like to be somewhere nice. A mercy.
Vous approchez du miroir. Contemple le reflet. Vous tendez la main dans un silence absolu. Les voix ont à nouveau disparu. Le miroir les force toujours à partir. Et vous devez voir ce qui se trouve à l'intérieur. Vous avez enflé. Ah, d'accord. Vous trouvez de nouveau au cœur de la quiétude éternelle. Avancez vers le chalet. Vous êtes au chalet. L'approchez.
Flickering lights in empty cityscapes become pockets of vitality and movement. I am more than I was before. Whenever you are ready, I will wipe your slate clean once again.
Alors, êtes-vous toujours la même? À quel point avez-vous changé?
Is a child the same as an infant? I am an unbroken pattern, but every vessel gives fresh perspectives and carves new avenues of expression. I am different, but I am the same.
Vous parlez par énigme. Ne pourriez-vous pas me donner au moins une réponse claire?
I'm sorry. Words are difficult for me. They never fully weave what I wish to say. If you do not like my answers, then you need not ask me questions. The vessels you choose to bring me carry far more meaning than anything words could say in the spaces between.
Quel effet cela fait de se transformer comme ça?
Eyes close in reflection. Perspectives meld together, and the breadth of my experience stretches to new corners. There are contradictions, conflicts in my nature, and there are familiarities that bind everything together. It feels correct. This is what I need to be. This is the only path forward.
Que comptez-vous faire une fois que toute cette histoire sera terminée?
With every gift you bring me, I excavate the alleys of what I am meant to be, and every exploration yields new and complicated truths. What I will be is different than what I am, and what I am is different from what I was. I cannot tell you what desires I will hold when I have changed. But in this moment, all I want is to know myself and to know you.
Vous avez bien conscience qu'à la fin, lorsque vous serez complète, je vous pourfendrai. Lorsque je reviens sur mes pas, c'est comme si un mur invisible se refermait sur moi. Pourquoi je ne peux pas refaire les mêmes choix?
Those paths lead to worlds you've already seen, and to perspectives I have already made my own. They are useless to us now, inaccessible. The only paths of value are those that are yet untread.
Lorsque vous serez complète, je vous pourfendrai.
There is still much to be seen. Neither of us know the depths of our being. Perhaps at the end of this, I will be the one to kill you. Or perhaps we will leave this place together and find new horizons to discover.
Vous avez été plus gentil à mon égard que n'importe qui d'autre, merci. Vous avez été plus gentil que mon égard que n'importe qui d'autre. Quoi? Que voulez-vous que je vous apporte la prochaine fois? Que pensez-vous de ce réceptacle? Je ne souhaite pas vous faire de mal, mais j'ai l'impression que plus je recommence, plus la situation risque de dégénérer. Que ressentez-vous à mon égard? Ces réceptacles que je vous apporte, elles ont souffert par ma faute. On va d'abord dire pourquoi. Vous avez été plus gentil à mon égard que n'importe qui d'autre. Pourquoi?
Why wouldn't I be kind to you? You are the only thing I know that isn't me.
Bravo. J'ai l'impression que plus je recommence, plus j'ai l'impression... plus la situation risque de dégénérer.
The vessels are shaped by memories of you, but their impulses are drawn to the edge of the long quiet. To them, you are a gate to something more, and any hurt you've caused them is understood as a fair price for freedom. But they are only thoughts and perspectives. They are not me.
Mhm.
The wounds they've suffered carve texture around my heart. Without them, I would be as I was before. I would be alone and without sensation. I could not feel the joy of having you by my side, for I would not know your absence.
Alors... Est-ce qu'on peut... Que voulez-vous que je vous apporte la bonne voix? Que pensez-vous sur cette attaque? J'ai envie de l'attaquer pour voir ce que c'est. Attaquons-la! Votre volonté transperce l'entité se trouvant devant vous, et cette attaque n'a aucun effet.
My roots burrow in an ocean beyond your sight. We cannot harm each other as we are now.
Ok. Si je détruis mon propre corps, essayez de tout votre cœur de mettre fin à votre vie. Alors même que votre volonté transperce l'espace, votre corps devrait se trouver, vous ne ressentez absolument aucune douleur. L'une des nombreuses mains qui se trouvent devant vous s'approche doucement et vous touche la joue.
There's nowhere for you to be but here.
Ok. Que voulez-vous que je vous apporte la prochaine fois?
Gifts aren't what someone tells you to bring them.
C'est pas faux.
My joy is in seeing what you choose. There are no wrong answers, and every perspective illuminates my shadows and shares new secrets.
Que pensez-vous de ce réceptacle?
This one is like a shadow of me, a memory of what she used to be, bound to the wounds of distance and time. She will make for a scarred and beautiful heart. Do not mourn her. She has finally found peace.
Et donc aucune préférence concernant votre évolution ou votre développement.
My preference is for you to show me what you would like me to see. I cannot know the ways I wish to grow, for I have yet to feel them. It is you who guides me down the thin trail of perspective and memory.
Combien d'autres réceptacles dois-je vous apporter?
If I am to be an ocean, you have nurtured me into a pond. My waters are shallow and murky, and I yearn for more perspective. You will have your rest in due time, and I am sorry for the burdens I place on you.
Je suis prêt à retourner.
I will long for your return, but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
Le monde autour de vous s'obscurcit et la vie vous abandonne. Let's go. Et on est reparti.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that...
Alors... Ah, il y a un truc qu'on lui a pas dit, je crois. Vous ne vous êtes pas dit que je n'étais pas contre la fin du monde? Surtout, donc, pourquoi voudriez-vous que j'envisage une telle éventualité? Personne ne souhaite la fin du monde.
Maybe some people do, like nihilists or very, very evil people, but surely you're not one of those, right?
Ok. Et ben on avance. C'est parti.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not gonna go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to ignore him.
Avance. On a déjà vu ça. On va essayer de la libérer.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare.
Let's go.
The door.
Alors. Je viens vous sauver. C'est dangereux de la libérer avant que ça rentre dans votre crâne.
Wait, really? You're here to rescue me? I was starting to think I'd be stuck down here forever. Come downstairs. I want to see the face of my rescuer.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. I can't believe you're here. I've been waiting for something like this to happen forever. I hope you brought something to deal with these chains.
Don't do it. If she gets out of those chains, we're all one step closer to the end.
Je vais voir ce que je peux faire.
You're only making this more difficult.
On va voir ce qu'on peut faire.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake. No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
Alors, et s'il n'y avait pas de clé? Vous avez une autre idée? Je vais aller voir là-haut, il y a peut-être une clé quelque part. Sinon je trouverai autre chose pour vous libérer.
Okay. I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here?
On va redescendre les escaliers du coup.
You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
On dirait.
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf.
Waouh. Oh là là.
As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now.
D'accord.
Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
Ah, sauver la princesse.
Fine.
Après, ils auraient pu nous proposer justement.
Better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal. No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
S'approcher de la porte fermée avec les...
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade.
Eh, c'est pas ce qu'on veut, hein.
Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Ah! Oh! Ouais, alors, on peut l'avertir. L'avertir.
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it. Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive.
Mhm. Ah, on peut résister. On résiste.
The blade. Move the blade. As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her blade work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks. It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over. Everything goes dark, and you die.
La demoiselle.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Non, mais je suis mort, qu'est-ce que je fais ici? De ça, cette fois, je ne compte pas me laisser faire. Je ne me laisserai plus avoir par vos petits stratagèmes.
My tricks? What on earth are you talking about? We just met for the first time. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
Et du coup, c'est qui maintenant qui nous accompagne en plus?
Yes, he didn't
Ah, les
approve
prix.
of us last time, did he? If we're going to save our beloved, we'll have to be sneaky about it. Our beloved? Yes, you'll have to be very sneaky about your intentions if you're going to try and save the princess. Ah, so all of the cards are on the table. Then you should know that we and the princess are in love, and the four of us will be foiling any and all assassination attempts you've got in the works. We'll see about that. Whatever you do, just be sure to ignore him specifically. It sounds like he's the sort who'd sacrifice the whole world for a peck on the cheek. What can I say? A world without love is a world that isn't worth saving.
Alors... Bon, avançons.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We already told you we're not playing along with your little game. It's your lies that can't be trusted. Her beauty is the only thing in the world we can believe in. I think we've already been over this. I'm pretty sure he just likes the sound of his own voice. I do, but I also speak from the heart. My passions are too great to be stifled. They must be expressed. Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear them. Some things are better kept quiet. Don't pay their bickering any mind. Focus on the task ahead.
Ok, on entre dans le chalet.
The interior of the cabin is clean and elegant, its stone walls draped in fine-threaded tapestries, a prison befitting a royal prisoner. The only furniture of note is an ornate wooden table with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
S'approcher du miroir.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But there was a mirror a second ago. And now it's gone. Pity. We could have a feather out of place and now we'll never know. We can't gallantly sweep her off her feet if we have a feather out of place.
Allez, on redescend. Let's go.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches positioned along the walls. The basement almost seems welcoming in the dim firelight. But it's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. A soft voice carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Her voice. It's somehow even more beautiful than last time. I can hear wedding bells already. I've held my tongue till now, but you're taking this a little too far. We barely even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this over-the-top fawning.
Exactement.
Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of the manipulation. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall. My love, we're here to rescue you from your unjust and foul imprisonment. You know she can't hear you, right?
Salut Baldrax. Ouais, c'est cool.
She may not be able to
On joue
hear
à
my
Slay the
words,
Princess.
but surely.
Et là on tente du coup de la sauver.
Oh, your spirit's plenty loud, all right.
Ouais, franchement c'est très très cool.
It's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried you wouldn't come back.
Did you hear that? She said we're dashing. And she called us a hero. Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it? Waiting for you to come back. I didn't want to believe your ravings back in the woods, but this is next to incontrovertible evidence. You've been here before. That's right, villain, and you killed us. Well, she killed us.
Ouais, dans les faits c'est elle qui nous a tués.
Made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty. And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. What matters is you have a chance to do it right this time. We damned a whole world, but everything reset. Nothing resets, you're just somewhere else. And you can't keep hopping between worlds forever, especially not without leaving a trail of incomprehensible devastation behind you. This is horrible.
Ah, on peut poser des questions. Et ouais, non, c'est cool. En fait, c'est vraiment faire différents runs pour voir du coup quel trajet on prend et tout ça. Non, franchement, c'est super bien. Tout est bien foutu. Que s'est-il passé après la mort?
You died, and now we're talking.
Ok, c'est tout. C'est tout, c'est tout. On doit recommencer. Est-ce que l'apocalypse a eu lieu? Est-ce que vous avez détruit le monde?
I don't know. Was I supposed to have ended the world? Would that have made you happy?
D'accord.
Isn't that just like our darling princess? She wants to make us happy. My heart melts further with every word that passes through her beautiful lips. Are you listening to her? That's a confession.
Non, elle a pas avoué. Pas vrai. Si, non, m'a dit faire. Le monde a été irrécupérable. Si vous voulez mon avis, les habitants sont un fléau et j'espère que l'agonie a été longue. Non, non, je ne souhaite pas la fin du monde.
Then I didn't end the world.
Ok, super.
See, she didn't confess anything. She is innocence itself. Not so sure.
Alors, j'avais pas pris le couteau avec moi. Je n'ignorais que pour ce qui s'est passé la dernière fois, le narrateur qui m'a envoyé ici pour vous tuer après possession de mon corps. C'était complètement injuste.
If another version of me was pushed to such drastic action, it was for good reason.
That's okay. You were just doing your best, and that's all that matters.
Super.
She took that in stride, to a surprising extent. An almost unsettling extent, actually.
Ouais, c'est un peu bizarre.
Perfect.
Pour lui, il est un peu con.
She has someone like him telling her what to do. She doesn't. There's no one else like me. I think he's right, because I like it better if she doesn't have some horrid little voice like him, always trying to drive her to violence.
Mhm. Vous m'avez tué les dernières fois cette semaine. Genre, pourquoi vous avez fait ça?
I'm sorry. Didn't you want me to?
Did we? We warned her of the cruel forces seizing our body. That's practically telling her to kill us. She is our beloved, and she made the choice to free us of our misery, to show us mercy and make the best decision for everyone.
Les prix, c'est pas le plus... c'est pas le coton plus égalé du terroir.
Decision for her. Don't be so quick to assign kindness. You're just opening yourself up to manipulation.
Je n'ai pas pris de couteau avec moi. Est-ce que je dois encore vous couper le bras pour vous libérer?
I'm okay with whatever you come up with. You can cut my arm off again.
Ah, on va voir si on peut pas faire autre chose quand même. Ça serait mieux.
We won't be laying a finger on her perfect wrists, and indeed, we won't even have to. Do you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her right out with no harm done. What? No, she's a prisoner here. You can't just slip her hand through the chains. Why are you two arguing over the logistics of slipping her hand out of her shackles? She just said she'd be okay with any idea we came up with. Am I the only one here who thinks that's weird? She didn't care last time. Why should she care this time? That's our stoic, smiling angel. No, you're right. It's extremely bizarre behavior and further evidence that she's a monster who's not to be trusted. So go ahead and slay her.
Voilà, sauve.
No, I can't let you do that. If you take another step towards the princess, I'll... You'll what? Take over our body and force us to try and kill her? I would if you had a weapon.
Je sais pas si vous aviez une arme.
Not on my watch, villain. My passions contain titanic depths, and if you try anything that might harm our dearest, I will end our life without a second thought. You wouldn't. I would. I'd listen to him if I were you. He has a lot of strong feelings, and doesn't the world end if we don't stop her? You approach the princess and gingerly slide her hand from her bindings. That shouldn't have worked. I'll be damned. We're doomed. I can't believe it, but I guess I have to. I told you, there's no life more worth living than that of a true believer.
I'm free, and you're not trying to kill me this time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The princess jumps up and smothers you in a joyful embrace. Ugh. If only you had a weapon, one slip of the wrist and your pristine blade would be buried in her back and everyone out there would be saved. Luckily for Mr. Romance, we don't have a weapon. Who needs a weapon when we have the power of love on our side?
What do we do now?
Alors... Qu'est-ce que vous voulez faire? Partons d'ici, nous aurons toute la vie pour réfléchir à ce que nous voulons faire de notre avenir. Alors, qu'est-ce que vous voulez faire?
Let me guess. End the world? Spoken with the rank cynicism of someone who has never felt love in his heart.
I don't actually know. Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted before.
She doesn't even know what she wants. You may have had her all wrong. What if this whole thing is just a misunderstanding? What if she doesn't want to end the world? You're so gullible. Is the only thing you've ever doubted the actual truth?
I think I want to leave. And I think
The princess closes her eyes in deep reflection. And then she shrugs.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Ah, je veux savoir ce que vous voulez. Il y a forcément quelque chose dont vous avez envie. Est-ce que vous souhaitez détruire le monde? La priorité, c'est de sortir d'ici. On pourra réfléchir à la suite plus tard. Il y a forcément quelque chose dont vous avez envie.
I just want to make you happy.
She can't just want to make us happy. It makes sense to me. That's all I want for her, so of course she'd want the same for us.
Mais qu'est-ce qui vous rendrait heureuse, vous?
I just want to make you happy.
Oh là là.
Is she broken? What's going on? What's going on is she's lying to you, only she isn't a good liar. Are you starting to trust me now?
Il y a le truc de l'entité derrière elle. Il y a quelque chose qui ne tourne pas en sortant vite d'ici. Ouais, quelque chose qui ne tourne pas. Parce qu'après, plus on va chercher à parler, plus justement ça va avancer. Désolé, vous devez avoir des ambitions personnelles, on vient à peine de se rencontrer, votre bonheur ne peut pas simple dépendre du mien. Parce que peut-être qu'on peut lui échapper. Nos parents. Sortons vite d'ici.
That sounds perfect.
Oh, phew. She's back to normal. Normal? What are you talking about? Our angel has always been like this. Absolutely flawless. The princess takes your hand, the last hopes of the entire world slipping through your fingers as they intertwine with hers. We have each other. We don't need the world for our happy ending. I like to think that you do, actually. Look, I have my doubts, but the choice has been made and this is happening. You don't have to mope about it. I will mope about it, because moping is the only recourse you love-blind fools have left me with. You and the princess walk up the stairs hand in hand. Ugh, look at the way she's smiling at you. She doesn't have to be so happy about this. And what happens after we walk up the stairs? Let's see. Oh, isn't that interesting? The door slams in your face and the lock clicks. That's a familiar move. Did I do that last time? Then you should know that you won't be able to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! Did someone lock us in here? That's not fair. We're supposed to leave now.
She's right. It isn't fair. But the unfairnesses of the world are no match for the strength of true love. Enough with this true love nonsense. You just met her. Of course you wouldn't understand. Our passions run deeper than anything you have ever known. Are you listening to this? You don't have to go along with the every whim of that delusional voice. I'm just along for the ride at this point.
Alors, est-ce que vous pensez pouvoir l'ouvrir? Je pense qu'on peut l'ouvrir si on s'y met ensemble. On va faire ensemble. Je pense qu'on peut l'ouvrir si on s'y met ensemble.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Let's go!
Like a pair of teenagers in love, you and the princess place your hands on the door. Together. Blech. And... the lock clicks, and the door creaks open. Are you kidding me? I told you our love was insurmountable.
Il n'a pas cru en l'amour.
You and the princess make your way upstairs And the blade, that's right, there's still a chance for you to do the right thing. Take the blade from the table and slay her before it's too late.
Non, ignorer ces injonctions.
You're enjoying this, aren't you? You're taking every opportunity you can to draw out the end of the world and make me suffer. I hate you. You know, if her walking out that door is really going to end the world, can't we all just stay here? Seems like an easy win for everyone. That's not how this works. Yes, what he said. That's not how this works. Obviously, we have to leave with her. It's our happy ending.
Alors, nous pouvons être heureux du moment qu'on reste ensemble. Et si on restait ici? Ah, t'as essayé de m'arrêter vous deux, j'ai pris... Décision, mon père. Désolé, ça.
Yes, I suppose you are going to do that, aren't you? You cross the room, opening the door to the cabin.
L'objectif, c'est de la sauver.
And then you step outside. Our happy ending at last.
We did it! What should we do now?
Ah, l'entité revient visiblement.
Where did everything go? Where did he go? Oh, is he gone? I hadn't noticed. I was too busy staring deep into our beloved's eyes.
I'm cold. Is being happy supposed to be so cold?
She's cold. Quick, our feathers. Pluck them all and weave her a coat worthy of a princess.
Oh zut, l'entité l'a reprise. Et vous n'avez pas le temps de lui fabriquer des vêtements, ni maintenant ni jamais. Il est temps pour vous de partir. La mémoire vous revient.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why now?
Alors... Très bien, vous devez me faire confiance. Vous êtes déjà venu ici et vous avez toujours peur.
But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything. Yes, I fear that we won't like what we'll see. What if we just sit here and preen for a while? That can't hurt, right?
Alors... Sois de l'autre côté, ne vous inquiétez pas.
Okay. If you say so. We'll trust you. She'll be there waiting for us. I just know it.
Vous approchez du miroir. Contemplez votre reflet. Vous tendez la main dans un silence absolu. Les voix ont à nouveau disparu. Le miroir les force toujours à partir. Et vous devez voir ce qui se trouve à l'intérieur. Vous avez fondu. Vous avez retrouvé de nouveau vous vous retrouvez de nouveau au cœur de la quiétude éternelle. Avancez vers le chalet. Vous êtes au chalet.
I am a growing chorus of contradiction, a mass of tides ebbing and flowing all at once in more directions than my attention can bear to hold. To look at any one is to shift them all into something new, and to look away is to reshape them yet again. All of me is changing, and yet the rest of me is still the same.
Vous ne pouvez pas être une contradiction, c'est impossible, une telle chose n'existe pas. Comment pouvez-vous supporter d'être une contradiction? Peu importe combien de fois je recommence, l'un de nous finit toujours par faire du mal à l'autre. Ça ne vous rend pas différente? Ça n'a pas des retombées négatives sur vous? Que pensez-vous de ce réceptacle? J'ai toujours l'intention de vous éliminer une fois que ce sera terminé, savez-vous? Il y aura des monstres que nous laissons derrière nous. Avez-vous décidé ce que vous ferez quand vous aurez terminé ici? Bon, on va tout discuter. Donc, vous ne pouvez pas être une contradiction, c'est impossible. Une telle chose n'existe pas.
And yet my waters flow and my streets bustle. There are no words that can describe me into non-existence. There is no logic that can bind my multitudes. I am everything that you have known me to be, but I am also none of it.
Comment pouvez-vous supporter d'être une contradiction?
As easily as you can stand to be you. You are like me, even if you have chosen not to look at the corners of you that do not fit. Even if you have chosen to ignore the brilliant contours of your soul.
Peu importe combien de fois je recommence, l'un de nous finit toujours par faire du mal à l'autre. Ça ne vous rend pas différente? Ça n'a pas de retombées négatives sur vous?
It changes me, but it doesn't make me worse, nor does it make me care for you any less. Does it make you worse? Do you resent me?
Je crois qu'en réalité, je vous apprécie encore davantage. Je ne sais pas ce que c'est de moi. Non, pas vrai. Pas vraiment. Tout cela me paraît si loin que je suis quand je suis à vos côtés. Je n'ai pas d'avis sur la question. Je veux seulement que ça s'arrête. Mais vous me torturez, c'est insoutenable. Combien que je jouais. Honnêtement, on sait pas pour quelle raison, on sait pas ce qui se passe. J'avoue, j'ai pas d'avis sur la question.
How strange of you to ask me then.
Que pensez-vous de ce réceptacle?
This one is soft and delicate. You molded her to love you, and she'll make for a gentle heart. Do not mourn her. She has served her purpose.
Savez-vous ce qu'il advient des mondes que nous laissons derrière nous?
My perspectives are shadowed. You have seen what I have seen, just as I have seen what you have seen. The angles of my vantage do not offer me hidden truths, and my attention is turned inward, except when you are here with me. Perhaps this will change when our work is done.
Ok. Avez-vous décidé de ce que vous ferez quand on aura terminé ici?
The desires of my multitude thrive in endless competition with themselves, but none of them rise above their dance to influence me. I yearn for what I have always yearned for, our awakening. Other desires shrink in the light of knowing you and knowing me.
N'avez-vous pas toujours aucune préférence quant à ce que je vous apporte?
I care about your gifts, but I have no preferences to burden you with. Even if I did, I would never dare to tarnish our relationship by assuming myself above you.
Vous n'avez donc aucune préférence concernant votre évolution ou votre développement?
The tides do not dictate where they are pulled. A river does not dictate its outlets. My gift to you is to let you choose your path, and my task is to treasure the gifts you bring me.
Alors, j'ai toujours l'intention de vous éliminer lorsque tout ceci sera terminé.
If that remains your choice when all is said and done, then you may try. But know that I do not wish you harm, even if you attempt to destroy me.
Combien d'autres réceptacles dois-je vous apporter?
We will know when we near our destination.
Ok.
I will be here when it is time for us to meet again.
Let's go.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to...
Alors, là, du coup, on y retourne. On va avancer vers le chalet.
You make your way up.
On entre dans le chalet. Là par contre ce qu'on va essayer de faire peut-être...
The interior of the cabin is almost entire.
On va prendre la lame et on va descendre. Et on va essayer de la libérer alors qu'on a la lame. Comme ça, ça va peut-être changer les choses.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
On descend. Je vais bien prendre de vos nouvelles.
Oh, it's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
C'était bon, mais quoi, n'importe quoi. Comment pouvez-vous imaginer une chose pareille? Je suis démasqué. Non, pas du tout. Je n'ai pas encore pris ma décision. J'ai une chose pareille.
That giant knife you're holding kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
The blade. Of course she doesn't want to talk. Who'd want to have a conversation at knife point? We should drop it. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Wesh.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed.
Voilà, alors... En effet, c'est très étrange.
I know. I just said that. Now why are you here to kill me?
Alors... J'ai raison, vous croyez que je suis venu ici pour exécuter quelqu'un sans savoir pourquoi? Ce serait ridicule. Savez-vous pourquoi je suis venu vous doxir?
That laugh. I think I'm in love. Stop it.
C'est ça tout de suite.
I have no idea. To be honest, I don't even know why I'm down here, or how I got here. I was kind of hoping you might be able to shed some light on the whole situation.
Alors... Je suis ici parce qu'apparemment vous avez l'intention de détruire le monde.
Don't just tell her that.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down here a long time.
Just how long has she been down here?
If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so... dangerous?
J'espère que vous me le diriez. Non, mais j'imagine qu'on n'a pas... Qu'allez-vous faire si je voulais sortir?
The princess hesitates before responding. She doesn't know. She's been down here too long to have any idea of what she'd do in another life. She knows what she'd do. She's just searching for whatever answer she thinks you want to hear.
I don't think I can answer that question in a way you'd find meaningful.
Bonjour Octopus, comment ça va?
Whatever the two of us have going on down here is about
On est en train
trust.
de jouer à Slay the
Whoever
Princess.
sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't
Et
tell me
c'est un
why.
jeu narratif où l'objectif, à la base, c'est de tuer une princesse enfermée dans un cachot.
And I don't think it sounds right to
Mais
you,
on peut
right?
désobéir au jeu et il y a
Becoming
plein de
each
fins
other instead of
différentes et
helping.
tout ça. Et ça a un côté un peu horreur aussi à certains moments, c'est très cool.
There's a reason I've been telling you to question the situation, and there's a reason you've listened.
So, I could tell you that I'd lead a quiet life in the woods, or that I'd open an orphanage, or that I'd do any other number of good things that I'm sure you think you want to hear. But you don't really know me, do you? What can my word possibly be worth in a situation like this?
She's right about one thing. Her word isn't worth anything.
Like I said, it's all about trust. Blind trust. So do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim, the princess clearly incapable of ending the world? Or do you trust whoever put me here?
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything. All for
Et
the
oui,
sake
je
of
réponds aux
one
questions avant.
person. And a subjugating
À la base, Slay the Princess, c'est un jeu qui est sorti en 2023, donc l'année dernière. Mais il est sorti hier sur console, et en plus, avec une version française, puisqu'il n'y avait pas de version française avant. Et donc du coup, on peut maintenant profiter correctement en français. Alors... Comment vous appelez-vous?
She hesitates before answering.
On a déjà vu ça. Ah non. Ah si. Quand je pourrais vous sortir d'ici?
You can't. Don't bother.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. I'm sure there's a key somewhere around here, and if there isn't... well, we can always put that knife to good use.
Her sharp eyes settle on the edge of the blade. She isn't suggesting what I think she's suggesting, right? She is. I'm sure of it.
Est-ce que je l'ai vu ça?
Wrong.
Ouais.
Oh,
Alors, je vais vous sortir d'ici. Examination.
Oh, you have to be kidding me. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall.
Si ça rechange et que ça ramène là où on était,
They're
bon, on verra
large and heavy,
comment faire notre
too
choix.
solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
if you don't have the key, maybe you should go looking for it. I'm sure it's somewhere upstairs.
Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
Alors, s'il n'y avait pas les clés, avez-vous une autre idée? Je vais aller voir là-haut. Ah oui. Et s'il n'y a pas de clé, avez-vous une autre idée? Autre chose que vous tranchez le bras pour vous libérer?
That would be fine. I can lose an arm.
Ok.
She speaks with almost complete nonchalance. If we were stuck down here for long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out. Anything to finally be free. You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here?
Alors... On va essayer d'ouvrir la
You
porte.
try the door, but it's locked from the outside. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
Laissez-moi sortir.
Shouts and pleas are met with silence.
Ok, pas de réponse.
I'll repeat myself once again. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done. You make your way back to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd simply slain her like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
Yep.
The knife. Pick it up and cut me out of here.
On veut pas essayer de
You
crocheter
won't know
la...
what happens if you do
les menottes?
that.
C'est quand même mieux. Hein. Allez, on l'assaut.
Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the princess's arm, just above the massive, unyielding chain. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and you make quick work of it. Before long, you're able to crack through bone, and she pulls the bleeding stub of her arm through the iron gauntlet. She didn't so much as utter a sound. Free from her bindings, the princess turns to face you, her fierce gaze meeting your eye. How is she so composed after losing an arm? It's like she isn't even bothered by it.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No,
Allons-y.
you won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I just can't let her escape into the world. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
Ah oui, là on a les choix. Et on peut l'avertir. On va la réavertir. On va voir jusqu'où ça va aller. Au pire, on fera un autre choix.
I thought
Après.
this was a little too easy.
Your body lunges forward to sink the blade into her back, but the princess swiftly moves out of the way before you can connect. Stop it! Stop resisting me! I am trying to get you out of here alive.
On va résister. Let's go.
The blade. Move the blade.
You're doing your best to help me, aren't you? I can see the conflict in your eyes. I'll make this quick.
She steps forward and pries the blade from your rigid hands.
Maybe I'll see you in another life.
And then she slits your throat with an almost clinical ease. Her face remains unchanged as she watches you collapse to the ground, blood flowing from your butchered neck. This is the end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die. I hope it was worth it.
Prisonnière.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Ok.
A terrible sense
Mince.
of deja. Don't forget what he did to us the last time around. I wouldn't trust a word.
Ah, c'est l'incrédule.
There's got to be a way out of here, for us and for the princess. We just have to keep trying.
À chaque fois, on a des voix différentes justement qui viennent nous accompagner au fur et à mesure de nos choix.
Last time, maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you two, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. And as far as trying to help her goes, need I remind you how catastrophically dangerous she is to the world at large? I told you about the stakes of this situation less than a minute ago.
Mhm. Mais c'est plus que j'ai l'impression, je suis à peu près certain que tout cela vient juste de se produire. On en a déjà parlé, on va avancer vers le chalet.
A warning before you go any further. Yes, don't believe a word she says. Just go in, take the knife, and do what you're supposed to. Wink. Did you just say wink out loud? No, I didn't. Wink. Just ignore this clown and focus on the princess.
Allons-y.
The interior of the cabin
ça a encore
is
changé.
less a cozy woodland retreat and more like a dungeon. A few pathetic wisps of starlight attempt to illuminate the cold, uninviting stone walls, and thick, wrought iron bars barricade the windows, reminding anyone who enters that this is a prison. The only furniture of note is an iron table, bolted to the floor, a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
On va se rapprocher du miroir. Mais si on s'approche pas du miroir, qu'est-ce que ça fait aussi? On va descendre directement.
I'm going to insist we take the blade. We're in a dangerous situation and I'm not letting us go down there without a weapon. Are you sure? What if she, I don't know, turns it against us? Which I'm bringing up in a purely hypothetical manner. Yes, I'm sure. Turns it against you? She's a prisoner here. She'll only be able to turn it against you if you give it to her. Which you won't be doing because she's an existential threat to the entire world. Okay, I'm trusting you.
Je n'ai pas mon mot à dire, c'est quoi la grande idée?
Normally, yeah, but not about this. Call it a reflex. We take the knife as we go. Wonderful. You do exactly that, sweeping the blade from the table before proceeding to the basement. Don't worry about it. We have a knife, so what? It's not like we have to use it. No, you don't have to do anything, but you do well to use it regardless. Moving on.
Ah, le miroir part directement sur...
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an old stone staircase. A few sputtering torches attempt to vaguely illuminate your path, dancing across glimmering patches of slimy moss on the stone steps. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her voice, harsh but controlled, carries up the stairs.
Is that a visitor I hear? Please, come downstairs. It's been a while since I've had company.
Does she remember us? You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. She looks up at you, the heavy collar around her neck clanking loudly as she moves. The chains binding both her wrists to the far wall, joining the metallic chorus as she adjusts her hands in her lap.
Là, il y a du changement. Hein.
Should we be worried about the one around her neck? Why would you be worried about her restraints? If anything, they'll make your job easier. Have you noticed the empty chain on the wall? Odd that in a place where everything seems to serve a distinct purpose, there would be something so obviously useless.
What an interesting development. Why don't you have a seat? The two of us should chat before you bury that thing in my heart.
Alors, je ne crois pas avoir besoin de faire grand chose. Elle est totalement emprisonnée, non? Je vais simplement la laisser ici. C'est vrai qu'on peut la laisser là. Là. Après. On peut tenter le coup. On va tenter le coup.
As if by divine will, just as you finish the thought, you hear a door slam. I'm afraid you won't be leaving until the task is finished. It doesn't matter how many chains she's in, without your intervention, she'll find a way out eventually.
Oui, enfin là, elle a la tête enchaînée quand même. Hein. Elle a la tête
Unless
enchaînée.
you deal with her right here, right now, she will remain an existential threat to the entire world. What seems unfair to you is fair for everyone else. Huh. So it's not even safe to think. I see how it is.
How surprising. They locked you down here too.
You step towards the princess, but she stops you before you get too close, holding up one shackled hand.
There's fine. I'd prefer we keep some distance until we've sorted this out.
That's reasonable. We do have a weapon. Might as well put her at ease. You do as she asks and sit on the floor, still a good distance away from her.
Thank you. Now, what are your intentions for me?
Alors. On peut crier "Eh, laisse-moi sortir!" Bien entendu, que voulez-vous dire? Je suis déjà venu ici. Est-ce que je suis le seul à m'en souvenir? Que s'est-il passé après ma mort la dernière fois? Cette autre chaîne accrochée au mur. À qui est-elle destinée? Que voulez-vous que je fasse? On dirait que je n'ai pas... Ah, attendez, hop. On dirait que je n'ai pas vraiment le choix. Je suis désolé. Sire la princesse, sire la princesse. D'accord. Je suis déjà venu ici. Est-ce que je suis le seul à m'en souvenir?
Oh, are we acknowledging that? I thought we weren't going to give away the game. But yeah, I remember.
First you make a comment about having been here before, and now this. As much as I would like to remain in denial, it's no use. This has complicated things. It's complicated things how, exactly? Ideally, this was supposed to be one and done. You go to the cabin, you heroically slay the princess, and in the process you save the entire world from being damned to oblivion. The situation right now, where you're getting a second shot at things, is a contingency. A contingency for what? For you failing, obviously. And you being here means that things are going to be a lot harder than they were. I really shouldn't say anything else, I'm just going to make it worse. Just good luck. If you knew this could happen, why didn't you tell us? All of this is incredibly valuable information. It would have changed our actions considerably. I needed you to be in the dark for as long as I could keep you there. It's important. Necessary, even. And maybe I wanted to be the first version of me that you met. I didn't want to be confronted by the alternative. That's pathetic. I never said I wasn't. I get it. It would be pretty upsetting, wouldn't it? To know that you might not be the first version of yourself. At least we can remember what happened before. Seems like we should count ourselves lucky for that. Exactly, he gets it. You're lucky, so don't waste that luck by messing it up again. Alright? Moving on. Why is it important for us to be ignorant? How is it ever helpful to be in the dark? The more I say, the more your mind will swim into dangerous waters. Even saying that is too much. Your success hinges on you having imperfect information. For the sake of the entire world, you need to accept that. I won't. Just give it a rest, this isn't helping.
Focus. This is a serious situation. You shouldn't be daydreaming.
Vous voulez connaître mes intentions tout à l'heure. Que voulez-vous dire par là? Alors, que s'est passé après ma mort la dernière fois?
Nothing happened. You died. I went upstairs. I couldn't leave. I found myself in a new place in chains again.
More of them. And now you're back.
Is that really all she knows? It's not like we have much of a clue about how things work. And she's probably even more in the dark than we are.
You're looking at me like I might be hiding something. I'm not.
I guess it's possible she really doesn't know anything. Maybe both of us are stuck in this loop without any idea why or how.
Alors... vous vouliez connaître mes intentions tout à l'heure. Que voulez-vous dire par là?
Yes, your intentions. You have a knife. What are you going to do with it? Why are you here? There isn't a keyhole in these shackles, and I don't see any keys in your hands either. So I'm afraid my only way out is another surgical removal.
Is she forgetting about the shackle on her neck? Or does she think she'd survive a beheading? You're right. Maybe she's delusional. All the more reason not to trust her. Unless she really could survive.
Though I suppose you could just be here to kill me. But I don't think that's in either of our best interests.
Vous voulez que je vous coupe la tête pour vous sortir d'ici? Au cas où vous ne l'auriez pas remarqué, vous avez aussi une chaîne autour du cou.
No, no. Like I trust you to come any closer with that knife. All you're going to do is hand it to me and watch me work.
But she would have to cut her head off, right? She can't be suggesting that. She certainly seems confident. Maybe she knows something we don't. Or maybe you should consider the most likely scenario. She's bluffing so she can disarm you. Though if she isn't bluffing, whatever she has planned might be for her benefit alone. There's no guarantee that what's good for her is good for us. So, what should we do? I don't know. I'm just spelling out our options, listing the pros and cons. Then let me help you. I'll start with the cons. If you're handing her your weapon, the cons are that she might use it to escape and end the entire world. And she might use it to kill you. That doesn't sound great. What about the pros? There are none. The pros are that we can't trust him, possibly even more than we can't trust her. And whatever she has planned could do something to mess with what he has planned. Or maybe they're both screwing us over in their own ways.
Une tour chaîne accrochée au mur. À qui est-elle destinée?
I don't know, but you could always try it on. Maybe it'll fit.
I hope I don't actually have to say this, but please don't lock yourself in chains. We need you ambulatory if you're going to save the world.
On peut examiner la chaîne. Oh, d'un côté, je suis curieux. Hein. Vous savez que j'ai autant de raisons de me méfier de vous que vous en avez de douter de moi, non? Je ne vais pas vous confier mon arme, vous l'avez peut-être oublié, mais vous en êtes servi pour me tuer derrière moi. Je vais vous couper ce qui vous retient ici, mais je ne vais pas vous donner d'arme. Je vous fais confiance, oui. Si vous voulez sortir d'ici, c'est moi qui garde l'arme, vous devrez faire avec. On dirait que je n'ai pas vraiment le choix, je suis désolé. Non, on va examiner la chaîne. Pour le fun.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. And why is that?
C'est à prendre la chaîne.
I need to explain myself. It's a shackle and it's one without a key. Do you want to be stuck here like she is? And what? Is it going to lock the second we put our wrist into it? I don't know. Maybe it will. He doesn't want us to look at it. That's all the reason we need to investigate. But what if he's telling the truth? He isn't. I am.
Allez, on examine.
Against your better judgment, you approach the chain dangling from the far wall. The princess watches you with faux disinterest as you inspect it, though she can't fully hide her curiosity. I don't want to say what I'm supposed to say next. What is that supposed to mean? It sounds bad. Is it bad? Yes, it's bad. Come out and say it then. You're just wasting time. Fine. As you hoist the shackle, its heft shifts within your grasp, as if pulled by some odd magnetism. Before you can so much as blink, it practically leaps from your hands, snapping around your neck. And, as if your situation weren't bad enough, the same magnetism repels your blade, which is flung from your hand and sent skittering across the floor of the basement. Excuse me? Yes? Are we stuck here now? Yes.
Huh, so it does fit. And I guess it doesn't like your knife. We're stuck here together, aren't we? That's funny.
What are we supposed to do now? Can't even cut ourselves out. Guess we'll starve. That's horrible. It's not all bad. We learned a valuable piece of information. Not to touch things we're specifically told not to touch? No, that there's something special about this loose chain. It's clearly important.
Ok, alors on est bloqué. Alors on est coincé tous ici. Que devons-nous faire? Est-ce que vous saviez que ça allait arriver? Non. Alors on est tous les deux coincés ici.
Yep.
Que devons-nous faire?
Wait, I guess. Maybe something else will happen. Maybe not.
Est-ce que vous saviez que ça allait m'arriver?
No.
Ok. Vous n'êtes pas du genre bavarde, vous.
Nope.
That's rude.
On va voir, attends.
Princess wait in silence, though neither of you knows what you're waiting for. But you're waiting for something. You're waiting for anything. This is so boring. There must be something we can do to get out of here. There must be something we're missing. But there isn't. Time passes. It passes and passes and passes. And the basement of the cabin remains much the same. It is cold and silent. At least the world is safe. It isn't. You're stuck. Too far away from both the princess and your blade to do much of anything. But she's not ending anything. She's just sitting there. Her very existence is a threat. It harms everything around it. How exactly does that work? It just does. But your line of questioning is interrupted by the passage of even more time, and after that, even more time passes again. And let me guess, the cabin remains the same. If time is passing, the cabin can't be the same. Even if the differences are small, they have to exist. That's just how things work. I suppose you're correct. Things are changing. The differences are small at first, a bit of weathering here, a bit of erosion there. then they get larger and larger.
Eh, vous avez vu que le sous-sol est en train de changer?
I don't like small talk, remember?
Still rude.
Bon, ok.
You continue to wait in silence, and the cabin continues to change. The decay comes faster now. You can see earth through holes in the stonework, and watch lichen spread along the seams of the walls. That doesn't make sense. Has our entire concept of time changed? What happens to starving? We should have died by now if the rocks around us are starting to erode. She hasn't starved. I guess she hasn't. Even more silent time passes as you watch roots push themselves through the increasingly porous walls of the basement. Dirt seeps inside, flowing across the stone floor like a liquid, covering the ground and threatening to swallow you both. Time continues to pass, and pass, and pass, until suddenly there are no walls. And then... And... I think he's gone.
Ah,
Would you
c'est
look at
l'arrivée de
that?
l'entité.
We made it out of the cabin, and nothing bad had to happen to either of us. So this is the outside world. It's cold.
Vous n'avez pas l'occasion de répondre, et vous ne l'aurez jamais. Il est temps de partir. Et moi, vous
She's
revient.
gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why now?
Ok.
But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything.
Donc ne pas interagir avec le miroir, ça change rien.
You're right. Part of me wants the truth, but something stronger is holding me back. Fear.
On s'en va de l'autre côté.
Okay. If you say so. We'll trust you.
Feels too good to be true.
Vous approchez du miroir. Vous tendez la main dans un silence absolu. Les voix ont à nouveau disparu. Le miroir les force toujours à partir, mais vous devez voir ce qui se trouve à l'intérieur. Vous avez dépéri. Vous vous retrouvez de nouveau au cœur de la quiétude éternelle. Vous êtes au chalet.
There's a world beyond the endless walls of the long quiet. We're supposed to be there. Do you know what we'll find out there?
Est-ce une question rhétorique? Est-ce que vous le savez? Est-ce que vous... Essayez-vous de me faire passer un message? Il y a des arbres et des étoiles. Et des humains aussi, j'imagine. En tout cas, il devrait y en avoir. Pensez-vous qu'il y ait quoi que ce soit de réel à l'extérieur? Pensez-vous que nous sommes réels? Que pensez-vous de ça? Ok, non, on va lui dire plutôt... Deuxième. Il y a des arbres et des étoiles. Et des humains aussi, j'imagine. En tout cas, il devrait y en avoir.
There is a warmth and sadness in me at the thought of people. Fresh tears on a winter's day. They are not like us. They do not last.
Pensez-vous qu'il y ait quoi que ce soit de réel à l'extérieur? Pensez-vous que nous sommes réels?
We are real. Nothing is an idea that dwells in the absence of something. But nothing cannot exist on its own. And because of that, nothing can't exist.
Que pensez-vous de ce réceptacle?
This one is determined, but also cautious. One that would rather let the world move around her than move it herself. she will make for a patient heart. Do not mourn her. She is exactly where she needs to be.
Mhm. Savez-vous ce qui se passera lors de votre réveil?
If I did, I would already be awake.
Pas faux. Lorsque je repars, je ne suis plus seul. Des voix me parlent en permanence. Certaines font partie de moi, mais l'une d'entre elles est différente. Je l'appelle le narrateur. Il veut que je vous exécute. Avez-vous un narrateur vous aussi? Est-ce que les réceptacles en avaient-ils? On avait un?
No, their thoughts are quiet. Do you think your narrator lives in the spaces beyond?
Je ne sais pas comment, mais j'en suis certain. Oui, je ne sais pas ce que je ferai quand je lui mettrai la main dessus. Oui, et quand je lui mettrai la main dessus, nous obtiendrons enfin des réponses à nos questions. Oui, je le tuerai quand je lui mettrai la main dessus. Oui, mais vous comptez bien garder cette information pour vous. Je ne sais pas comment, mais j'en suis certain. Plutôt.
I am on the cusp of my awakening. Perhaps you are on the cusp of yours.
Combien d'autres réceptacles dois-je vous apporter?
One. Whatever you bring me next will be enough, and then gravity will pull the others back to me. I will be singular, a final multitude.
Ok. Si c'est la dernière fois, avez-vous une demande particulière?
These gifts are a conversation, and each one shows me the contours of your heart. The only thing I want to see is what you choose for me when the thread is fully drawn.
Si c'est la dernière étape avant votre planète épanouissement, je ne vais pas y retourner. Je vais plutôt rester ici.
You've already tried waiting, but I understand if you need more time. I'll wait with you. I will see you when you return. What textures will you weave for yourself to occupy forever? Will you place the images of you and I into a box for safekeeping? If you close that box, will you become another you in another world? An imaginary pattern repeating itself until it can no longer bear the weight of its hand-drawn cage? You'll always come back to the box, because you'll always want to know what it means to be you. I will be here waiting by your side until you're ready to return to mine.
Ah oui. On n'a pas le choix.
I see you have returned to me. Days
On l'avait déjà fait
looking
ce coup-là,
for
on avait déjà fait ça tout à l'heure.
I never left your side. The next time I see you, each of us will finally know what we are. I will be here, waiting for you.
Super. Et let's go. C'est bon.
You're on a path in the woods.
Alors,
And at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here.
on va sauvegarder. Voilà. C'est quoi AR au début? Ok, donc ça c'est sauvegarde automatique et ça c'est sauvegarde rapide. Ça c'est la vraie sauvegarde que je fais. Ok, d'accord. Oui, parce qu'on va s'arrêter là-dessus. En tout cas, c'est bien, on a fait 4 fins, je crois, différentes. Honnêtement, c'est cool, hein. C'est vraiment très très cool. L'ambiance est bonne. Ouais, l'ambiance est vraiment bonne. Les choix et tout ça sont vraiment étonnants, vraiment. La première fois qu'elle s'est arraché le bras, c'était bizarre. Mais franchement, c'est vraiment cool. C'est vraiment... La VF est pas trop mal, honnêtement. Il y a des petits ratés, mais le seul souci, c'est que quand du coup le narrateur fait une phrase beaucoup trop longue, on l'a souvent en 2 parties. Donc c'est un peu embêtant. Là, je sais pas. Il y a beaucoup de fins différentes. Je pourrais pas véritablement dire. Je sais que dans les trophées que je vois, enfin, les trophées bug sur PSTLC, mais euh, voilà. Il y a un total d'environ une cinquantaine de trophées, donc il doit en avoir pas mal similaires. Et sur PC, il y a quasiment 150 success Steam. Donc du coup, il y a vraiment beaucoup de choses à faire. Mais pour le coup, je ne sais pas trop. Ouais, non, c'est ma sauvegarde. On peut faire du coup 8 pages de sauvegarde si on veut. Attendez, c'est ça peut-être? Non, ça c'est historique. On voit pas les fins. On peut sauvegarder, on a les options, etc. Mais on n'a pas le truc des fins. Mais par contre, il y a pas mal de fins différentes, je pense. En tout cas, on en redécouvrira du coup lundi. Ouais, lundi, normalement. Donc voilà, tout simplement. En tout cas, c'était cool. En tout cas, c'était très bien. Alors malheureusement, c'est bizarre que le jeu n'apparaisse pas sur PSTLC. En fait, le jeu apparaît, mais quand on clique sur du coup la liste des trophées, on arrive sur le forum et la fiche de jeu n'existe pas. C'est bizarre. C'est bizarre. Mais on essaiera de voir ça, on essaiera du coup au moins de terminer le jeu une fois, et après on verra comment on fera. On essaiera peut-être d'avoir d'avoir les autres trophées, tout ça, puisqu'après tout ça fait depuis un an que le jeu est sorti, il y a peut-être des guides, et s'il y a vraiment besoin, si on se retrouve un moment à refaire une fin qu'on a déjà fait, on va voir un petit peu comment on va s'organiser. Voilà. En tout cas, c'est très cool. On va déjà dire au revoir à YouTube. Salut YouTube, à la prochaine. N'hésitez pas d'ailleurs à vous abonner à la chaîne YouTube des VOD pour pouvoir attraper les streams que vous avez ratés. Et à suivre la chaîne Twitch pour suivre les streams en direct. Allez, salut YouTube!